Good morning and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Volta Premier Ho and Menuveva Flow, Lolonyo FM Hohoi and Kekeli Radio. Ho get radio, TV and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, police reveal 12-year-old girl reportedly married off to a 63-year-old traditional priest in Nungwa here in Accra is now under their protection along with her mother. We have details plus the defense of the Wulomo defending the act.
Any of them that have been calling for the gender ministry, they should first go and meet the Christian organization and go and ask about Mary and Joseph.
Also terrible, disappointing and about the reach of many Ghanaians. That's the minority NDC's response to the government's 400% increment in passport fees.
You know that the general living conditions are terrible. We have a cost of living crisis. This cannot be the time to do this.
In business,
National Petroleum Authority delays setting of price and floor for various products to April 16 for further consultations and module review. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
And when foodstuff competes for space with filth in a market, the customer has to make a choice to buy or not to buy. We have more in today's filth exhibition.
Because of the baller that I'm here, when I see somebody drop something like this, then I'll say, hey, pick it. What is that? Because we don't want any baller to come at the roadside.
These are more with me, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. Details shortly. Let's dig in now. The Ghana Police Service says a 12-year-old girl married off to a 63-year-old traditional priest, Bobu Wulomo, at Nungwa here in Accra, is currently under its protection along with her mother. In a statement on its Facebook page, the police says investigation is underway to unravel circumstances leading to the marriage. Women speaking in the local Ga language told the girl during the ceremony to dress provocatively for her husband. But the traditional authorities say the girl's role is merely ceremonial. Maxwell Agbagba joins me in studio with details of the police statement. Maxwell, what does it say?
It says the Ghana Police Service has identified and located the 12-year-old girl who's alleged to have been married to the 63-year-old Bobu Wulomo in Nungwa, Accra. The girl and her mother are currently under police protection. The Ghana Police Service is working with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the Department of Social Welfare to provide her with the necessary support while the matter is being investigated.
Thank you, Maxwell. Meanwhile, the Bobu Wulomo in Nungwa is defending itself against calls for the arrest of the 63-year-old priest, Numa Bokete Lawe Churu, over the marriage to the minor. They say the girl has been designated to attend to one of the 99 deities of the Gadangwe group, which necessitates her being a virgin.
It's deeper than what is being preached. It's more deeper for our spirituality. But on a lighter note, any of them that have been calling for the gender ministry, they should first go and meet the Christian organization and go and ask about Mary and Joseph. When they go and ask about Mary and Joseph, then and they are satisfied with the research work on Mary and Joseph, then they should call the gender minister to abolish Christianity. Her role for what was done is purely tradition and custom. 6 years ago, the process was started publicly. She has been performing the Domino rites. You go outside, you see some of her pictures performing those rites.
And that's the defense of the Bobu Wulomo shrine in Nungwa. Now, the minority NDC in Parliament has described as disappointing the 400% increment in passport fees by government. The Foreign Affairs Ministry, in a statement yesterday, adjusted the fees for applications ranging between 100 Ghana cedis to 500 Ghana cedis for the 32-page booklet and to 644 Ghana cedis for the 48-page booklet under the standard service. For those who want expedited service, they will pay between 700 Ghana cedis for a 32-page booklet and 800 Ghana cedis for a 48-page booklet. Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Kweku Amprechum Sapon justifies the new fees.
Until we are ready to invest, we will continue to have problems. Until we are ready to pay the realistic fees for passports, we will have problems.
But the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Kujeto Ablako, says his side will demand a review of the fees when the House reconvenes.
When the House resumes, we intend to revisit this matter because my recommendation, I believe that is sound. Our committee was clear that it should not be done in one single swoop.
Away from passport fees, members of the clergy have become the latest to join calls for the publishing of a load-shedding timetable, bemoaning the impact of the erratic power supply on churches, especially during the Easter festivities. The Electricity Company of Ghana has blamed the situation on faulty transformers, but the clergy wants a depoliticization of the matter. Here's Very Reverend Professor J. Kwabna Samuajedu, President at the Trinity Theological Seminary. He spoke on the probe with MFR Power.
I think it's the flip-flopping that is the problem. And that, I think, is a symptom of a bigger problem that we must all be aware of. It looks to me as if, as some people have suggested in the past, that everything in Ghana is now politicized. Because of the politicization of our problem, we are never able to be straightforward with the citizenry. Those in the opposition put pressure on government. Government puts pressure on itself by not coming clean. And this is not an issue for just one regime.
Well, for the Secretary General of the National Catholic Secretariat, Very Reverend Father Clement Kwesi J wants the real reason behind the challenge be made public.
It's not been very good for us, not just even the churches and activities, but even in our homes and our businesses and our offices. It's not been the best. But we have also not received the best of explanations as to what is happening. And we can't just point to one particular thing that is telling us that this is the situation.
Away from that, in 2014, the Supreme Court unanimously ordered businessman Alfred Agbesiwoyeme to refund 51.2 million cedis to the state after the court ruled that he got the money out of unconstitutional and invalid contracts between the state and Waterville Holdings Limited in 2006 for the construction of Stadia for CAN 2008. Also in 2020, the Supreme Court directed government to purchase some properties belonging to Woyeme after Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah urged the Apex Court to allow the state to take ownership after failure by an auctioneer to sell them to offset the debt. Years on, the state has yet to recover the money. Here's Deputy Attorney General Alfred Yeboah giving updates to my colleague Elton Brobe.
Our answer no. Efforts have been made. Some recoveries have been made, but we've not recovered everything from him.
Do you know how much money is still outstanding?
I cannot be specific ratio, but what I can say is that some monies have been recovered from him. We also made an attempt to also do some execution when it comes to
of some of his properties.
Yes. So we are still in the process, but he has not paid everything.
So those properties are in the hands of the state or they've been disposed of?
I don't know the update on it now. I need to check.
Okay.
And he had Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah. Now, it's a market where you'll find cheap prices for food items, but the storage stalls and selling tables of these items sometimes compete with the filth made in these areas. On today's Filth Exhibition series, Hannah Odami visits the Agbogbloshu market and filed this report.
Choked gutters litter in between stalls and overflowing rubbish bins characterize one of the busiest markets in the country, Agbogbloshu. For yam seller Peter Akundaya, all traders contribute to the enormous filth generated in the market.
First, people used to give excuses that when the waste collectors come and then maybe they put the rubbish in a dustbin, the prices they collect is too high. So now everybody could do it individually. You sweep your portion. That one, when the person comes, you charge 2 cedis, 3 cedis. Then you know you can pay. That we think maybe the government should pay those who are responsible for cleaning the environment. They should pay them well.
Acknowledging that the filth generated in the market can be better managed, Queen Mother of the market, Mabel Adadevo, tells Joy News a punishment regime has been instituted to be meted out to those who flout regulations on efforts to make the market filth-free. Popularly known as Englishman, he leads the market task force with sternness as he says the rubbish causes traffic on the already congested stretch.
Because of the baller that I'm here, when I see somebody drop something like this, then I'll say, hey, pick it. What is that? Because we don't want any baller to come at the roadside.
Hannah Dami with Filth Exhibition report. And that's how we end the bulletin. Our top story: police reveal 12-year-old girl reportedly married off to a 63-year-old traditional priest in Nungwa is now under their protection along with her mother. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Business is next on the Super Morning Show.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Mr. Mane, sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Millennium Insurance has enhanced its motor insurance policy cover to make life more comfortable for you, our valued clients, and in the event of vehicle breakdown whilst on the road. To ensure your safety and that of your vehicle, Millennium Insurance will ensure that your broken down vehicle is towed to a safe place within 1 hour of call and 30 kilometers radius from the place of breakdown. This service is absolutely free. Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner, is on standby to be of service to you. Contact us now on 0501 394 997 or 0501 285 821, 0501 394 997 or 0501 285 821.
Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
Hello, Auntie Araba. Hey, Bugger, how are you doing today? I want to buy Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, but I don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Can you give me the big size? You know, as for me, I'll pay the balance later. Today, no credit. I haven't sold much this morning. If you don't have enough money for the big size, why don't you try the 120 gram pack? There's a 120 gram pack? Introducing the new Pepsodent Cavity Fighter in 120 gram pack size. More affordable and convenient. Get yours today from any supermarket near you. Every smile matters. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello? Yo, bro! SG Ghana has done it again. Low interest rates on loans this year too. Yatisubium.
Charlie, I did throw inside. Let me call you back.
Call SG Ghana rather. Collect loan and buy car, my guy. Low, very low interest rates on loans this year too. It's difficult to keep good news to yourself, especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, and this year we are even lower. Yes, Yatisubium. Get the money you need to turn your dreams into a reality. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you and speak to our dedicated staff about the amazing Yatisubium loans today. You can also call 0302-214-314 for more details.
Ojo, it's 3 a.m. What now?
Yatisubium. Okay, bye. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you.
Are grandparents alive, Akwaku?
My grandparents, no.
Mine are gone too. But I mean, I remember my grandmother. She was with us for quite some time before she passed. I'm just wondering, how I'd feel if I heard my grandmother speaking like this.
I am a pensioner, and all my money, I must confess, I know I'm on air. The money that I saved to take care of my pension time has been taken over by the banking cleanup. So I don't have my money to support such a wonderful book. And if I tell how much that I saved for over 30 years to take care of my position now, you weep for me. I have one of the best pharmaceutical manufacturing companies, WHO standard in Tema. But because my money has been locked up and they cannot give it to me, I'm having problems with my overheads. I'm telling you, either GRA is on your neck or electricity company has come to put off your light. Or, yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
This is the founder of Karma Group of companies,
Exactly.
Aspen Pharmaceuticals,
Exactly.
right? And I mean, this thing hit me so personally because it occurred to me that the only reason why we had a banking sector cleanup was to protect people like this.
And it's been five or so years, more than 5 years.
Well, I mean, that's what they said to us, that they were protecting our deposits. And to protect our deposits, it cost you and me 25 billion Ghana cedis. Was it dollars? Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
25 billion to protect people like this. So it cost you and me. Our money is gone. 25 billion is gone. For which reason we are told that it has contributed to the current economic situation we're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our money is gone, but he hasn't received his. Ocheden.
And he's worked all his life for
His
this.
entire life. His entire life.
It's concerning.
His entire life. And he's not alone. There are many others.
And, I mean, he's a chief executive officer of a company. You think that he would, be able to buy? So just think about the ordinary person,
right?
Yeah.
They even invited him to a book launch. I don't know whether he was playing a role there, but he was explaining that he can't even afford to support the author by buying the book. Can you imagine?
It's terrible.
There's something fundamentally wrong, but we will tackle it. That's what we do here, Anna.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it this morning. Other things also on our minds. I mean, somebody has decided to help Konfanoche by helping them renovate their old blocks. They've imported some things, tiles, and the tiles are languishing at the port, gathering demurrage because somebody in the finance ministry since February hasn't, whether the person hasn't made it to the office yet or what, but the simple thing they have to do in order to sign a tax waiver for these people to go and take the thing that
Just
they are
sign.
using to do the job that government can't do.
Wow.
If
Incredible.
it was some white man coming to open some hotel, and by now wouldn't they have signed all his waivers for him to
I'm
bring
sure
in?
they would have.
This country. Meanwhile, Doomsaw is also destroying their existing equipment.
Yeah.
UPS
I saw that
Nazina.
story over the weekend.
All right. The 6 a.m. news was brought to us by Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. And Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner. Right. It's time for the Joy Business Report. And it comes thanks to Omni Basic Bank at your service.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, National Petroleum Authority delays setting price floor for various products to April 16 for further consultations and model review. Also coming up, IMF begins Ghana's second program review today as the country could secure more than $300 million if it passes this assessment. Plus, interest rates tumble for 13 consecutive weeks as government's Treasury bills target falls by 50%. Details coming up. My name is Daryl Kwal. Thanks for being with us. Hello to our friends listening from Koforidua on KTU Radio. The National Petroleum Authority has indicated that it has delayed the implementation of the price floor for petroleum products to April 16. The decision by the authority to set the benchmark prices for the various petroleum products should have started this morning. However, it insists that all the other regulations and the new guidelines still stand. Head of Economic Regulations at the National Petroleum Authority, Abbas Tasunti, says this should give room for further engagements and adjustment to the model.
If you read the full guidelines, you realize that it's not a guideline just talking about only floor price. Floor price is just one of the guidelines. There are several components of the guidelines which is promoting transparency for the consumer and helps us to all see that the industry is working for all, both the consumer and the player. So from 16th of April, the floor pricing will start. We've allowed this window to go so that we can just conclude on the components of the floor pricing. But the floor price starts from the 16th of April. But for the other guidelines, it starts from 1st April, and you can have access to this on the MPA website so you can understand exactly what we are talking about.
Abbas Satunsi is head of economic regulations at the National Petroleum Authority. Meanwhile, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers has vowed to oppose these new guidelines because it is not in the interest of consumers. Duncan Amwa is executive secretary.
What informs this thinking? But clearly, this is something that we are going to oppose vehemently, because we think that if you have deregulated and allow the market itself to compete, if the other player is probably not as efficient to be able to compete with one player who says, well, I can give the consumer a 50 peso or 1 cedi off. And then the regulator comes in and says, no, you can't sell, at any price you want because it's a deregulated market. If the player is running at a loss, the player would fold up in a week.
Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa. Ghana will today undergo scrutiny over its performance so far under the IMF program. The IMF Mission arrived in town over the weekend to carry out the review for the next 2 weeks. Here's Georgia with more.
The team is in town for this assessment after Ghana passed the first review completed in January this year. The engagement, which starts today, is expected to end next Friday, April 12, 2024. The team will engage officials of the Bank of Ghana, Ministry of Finance, the Presidency, and some civil society groups when it comes to those technical and policy issues. On the actual assessment, this will be based on how Ghana has fared for last year, ending December 2023, when it comes to those targets, monetary policy issues, and the structural benchmarks. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, are all optimistic that Ghana will pass this review based on how the country has fared over the last half of 2023. This could trigger the release of some $360 million by June this year, subject to the IMF board approving the second review. This would be the first of 2 reviews that will take place this year, whilst the other one will happen in November 2024. Ghana, since it signed up to the IMF program, has received $1.2 billion. This review could also see Ghana coming out with the terms and deal that it has reached with the bilateral creditors and Eurobond holders.
Georgia, with that report. Now, interest rates took another nosedive for the 13th consecutive week in 2024. However, government's Treasury bill target was undersubscribed by 50.69% because the Treasury decided to keep the yields down in order to reduce the cost of borrowing. Here's more.
According to the auction results by the Bank of Ghana, interest rates continue to tumble in line with the disinflation process. The 91-day bill fell by 25 basis points to 25.74%. The yield on the 182-day bill also plummeted by 28.24% from the previous weeks of 28.49%. Similarly, the 364-day bill also went down by 25 basis points to 28.84%. Last week, the government received an inflow of $300 million from the World Bank for budgetary support, a move that compelled the government to reduce its borrowing on Treasury market. Meanwhile, the T-bills auction surprisingly fell short of its target by 50.69%. The government got 2.354 billion Ghana cedis of the total bid standard. Chunk of the bid standard came from the 91-day bill. About 1.705 billion cedis was offered, and the government accepted all. For the 182-day bill, 510.34 million cedis were the bid tendered. The uptake was 510.34 million Ghana cedis. Also, the 364-day bill saw about 138.10 million cedis of the bids tendered.
Now, interest rates are currently hovering around 29%, sparing a high cost of borrowing regime for domestic businesses. According to Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abnama, this puts Ghanaian businesses at a significant disadvantage compared to foreign competitors. She spoke with Joy Business.
The high inflation and interest rate environment in Ghana has meant that many of our Ghanaian companies are essentially working for the banks. Our market will never grow if our macroeconomic environment isn't right. Our fixed income market, whether it's government or corporate, won't work until we have sustainable and a low interest rate regime. Because you can't compete in Africa if you are borrowing at 30% and your colleague in Nigeria is borrowing at 11% or in Kenya is borrowing at 6%. Our Ghanaian institutions won't survive.
Abna Moa, Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, commercial banks are today expected to increase a fraction of deposits mobilized and kept with the Bank of Ghana. This is because the cash reserve ratio based on loans granted as a percentage of their deposits is being increased today. The move has been influenced by an increasing number of banks that are still sitting on a lot of cash but are not lending. Dr. Ennis Addison is governor of the Bank of Ghana, and he had earlier explained this should help improve lending to the private sector.
So the banks will now have to make an extra effort to do what banks are supposed to do, which is financial intermediation, and really not just investing in high-yielding government or Bank of Ghana securities. This is really the thinking behind those measures. So obviously, if that happens, we expect that to impact on CD liquidity, right? And thereby, if you have the CD liquidity also in the foreign exchange market, this measure should withdraw that liquidity and therefore should also be supportive of a stronger CD.
Dr. Ennis Addison there, Governor of the Bank of Ghana. Now, the Institute for Energy Security has described as shocking a statement from the Electricity Company of Ghana insisting the nation has stable supply of power despite the ongoing crisis. According to the Institute, the statement is misleading and contradicts earlier statements put out by the ECG. It therefore wants the system operator, the Ghana Grid Company, to speak to the issues. Here's Nana Mwesi VII, the Chief Executive of the Institute for Energy Security.
We expect the GridCo to break its silence on happenings in the power sector and be willing to indicate to the ECG the quantum of power that could be made available to the ECG within a certain or a set time frame, so that the ECG can also plan and respond to power or load relative to timetable. We also expect of the PRC to do a complete audit of the power sector.
Nana Mwesi VII, Chief Executive of the Institute for Energy Security. Now let's turn to the markets. Based on demand and supply dynamics of the stock market, the price of new gold is expected to go up. Let's hear from Grace Munayoun of Databank Research on how your stocks will fare this week.
Last week's trading concluded with 5 price movers consisting of 3 gainers and 2 laggards. The gainers were Access Bank, Unilever Ghana and New Gold. Conversely, Carl Bank and MTN Ghana closed the week as the decliners. As a result, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index lost 2.31% weekly to a year-to-date gain of 10.41%, while the Databank Stock Index shed 1.88% weekly to a year-to-date gain of 8.39%. Overall turnover totaled 21.9 million Ghana cedis from the exchange of 2.7 million shares across 17 counters. New Gold dominated market activity, accounting for 74% of the aggregate turnover. This week, based on the demand and supply dynamics of the market, we tip the price of New Gold to increase. However, we expect Carl Bank and MTN Ghana to record some losses. For Joy Business Reports, Grace Munayoun of Databank Research.
Thanks, Grace. And before we go on the commodity market this morning, crude oil increased to $87 a barrel. Gold went up by more than $5, open trading at $2,256 an ounce. Cocoa trading at $10,120 a ton. Wow, after increasing by $354 on the currency market, the dollar going for 13 cedis 60 pesos based on quotes from Forex bureaus. The pound going for 17 cedis and the euro going for 14 cedis 60 pesos. More news on our website myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for listening. The Super Morning Show continues. Here's Winston, the ancestor. Good morning to you, Winston.
Good morning, Daryl Kwao. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Well, fantastic. God is still taking care of his children.
He is.
Yes,
he is.
So we thank God for life.
Yeah, definitely.
Fuel prices have gone down.
Have they?
I haven't checked.
Well, they were supposed to go up this week, but then you know that they took away the price stabilization and recovery levy,
yes.
And so we don't anticipate that to happen anymore. But there's something happening with new guidelines that could affect pricing going forward. So let's see how that goes as well.
But let's see how it goes.
But of interest this morning is cocoa hitting 10,000, over 10,000.
10,000
a ton. And
when we started the year, it was around 2,000 something.
Yeah, and it's too bad we are not meeting our production targets. We have more money.
Oh, Ghana.
Charlie.
Ghana. Anyway, Daryl, thank you very much. How did you enjoy the holiday?
Well, I worked
on Friday.
During the weekend, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But yesterday you didn't work.
I had a bit of rest yesterday. It wasn't enough though, but I won't complain.
Let's go for our inspirational song for today. It's Victory here on the Super Morning.
Victory.
how do you call that literary device? Oxymoron or something. And what does that mean?
You're an oxymoron. Anyway, it's good to be back together. We've got lots to do. Shall we start with the Drive Safe campaign?
Running away from that part, no problem. No problem. Anyway, let's get into our Drive Safe campaign, brought to us by Joy News and the Multimedia Group, and supported by Toyota Superior Quality and Imperial General Assurance Solid Protection. So our tip today says, slow down. Part of being a defensive driver is driving at safe speed. Defensive driving means always being aware of the current speed limit and following these laws. Please slow down. I know there's some of you who may not have woken up early this morning because you probably may have had too much fun yesterday. But whatever it is, please slow down and get to wherever you're going. Anyway.
We can now learn how to say it right?
Sure.
And it's brought to you by Kingdom Books. A Kingdom quality and affordability are their hallmarks. And Societe Generale Bank Ghana, the future is you.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
All right, who's ready for another rare word? Here you go. Appetence. APPETENCE. Appetence, or in some cases, appetency. It means an intense desire or a strong craving for something. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it was first used in 1596, and it shares origins with the word appetite. Let me use it in a sentence. Just the sound of Halle Berry's name invokes my deep-rooted appetence for women with short hair. Halle Berry. Well done, God. That's how you create a human being. And that is how you say it right.
All right then. So, let's get into the news review brought to us by Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough, and Enterprise Insurance at 100 Yafini promotion, celebrating our legacy, securing your future. And guys, I mean, because yesterday was a holiday, the papers haven't come in, but there are stories, lots and lots of stories online. So perhaps we'll make this the online review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goyle Good Energy, and G&J Technical Services, celebrating 30 years of providing backup power in Ghana.
All right, so I mean, one thing that's actually
I think there's
the Goyle LPM. Then before.
Oh yes, Goyle PLC. That's your CIMG Hall of Fame and 2022 Petroleum Company of the Year. They've taken the lead again. So Goyle has opened ultra-modern liquefied petroleum autogas service stations, and the modern autogas service is safe, is clean, and also offer affordable alternative fuel for your vehicle. So just look out for the Goyle Autogas station in these areas. Bemakam Goyle station here in Accra, also Kweshi Goyle station also in Accra. And then in Cape Coast is Pedu Junction Goyle service station, in Takrade, in Pinson Goyle service station, Kenton Chrono Goyle station is in Kumasi. Goyle delivering the safest and affordable gas at your convenience. Goyle Good Energy, Yen Ara Yen Dia. So we can now go online.
Yes, we can. Now, the first story that I noted was on myjoyonline.com. The headline is, "We are suffering," cries Kama Group chairman. Okay, so celebrated entrepreneur and chairman of the Kama Group, Dr. Michael Ajekumado, has re-echoed the harsh economic realities being endured by Ghanaians and says the times are indeed hard. Now, this self-made businessman, now in his 70s, says that his pension plans have been scuttled by the government's banking sector cleanup, and his savings for over 30 years meant to take care of him in his old age are all gone. Guys, listen to him.
I am a pensioner, and all my money, I must confess, I know I'm on the money that I saved to take care of my pension time has been taken over by the banking cleanup. So I don't have my money to support such a wonderful book. And if I tell how much that I saved for over 30 years to take care of my position now, you weep for me. I have one of the best pharmaceutical manufacturing companies, WHO standard in Tema. But because my money has been locked up and they cannot give it to me, I'm having problems with my overheads. I'm telling you, either GRA is on your neck or electricity company has come to put off your light. Or, yeah, bro.
You see, I have only one question here. Was this not the banking sector cleanup that cost us some 25 odd billion cedis? And didn't we all, as a nation, lose that 25 billion cedis in order to protect depositors like this? So if we lost the money, why did the depositors not get protected? Why have they still not got their money?
That's a big question. You've heard recently the president equally saying that they are being paid. You've heard in times past the finance minister say, oh, we have cleared all of the people we ought to pay. But there are still people who insist that these payments and in some other form have not come through. Now, it's a question that's on the minds of many because it's surprising how we still are discussing financial sector cleanup. Not just the impact of it, because as for the impact, it will linger on for a long while. I mean, yes, of course, we will have to deal with that thing in our system for long. But let's not also forget that after the financial sector cleanup, we went into this domestic debt exchange program and all of that. It's been a very terrible time for investors. That's what we should agree on. It's not been wonderful at all. All the promises we made and we taught young people that saving and investment is the way to go, we bastardized that within a couple of... And see, when the likes of Kama complain, it sends a very terrible signal. These are the people that we trusted. I mean, the people who built businesses ground up. And their story is always shared. I remember when he came in studio, we're in that corner at the other time, and he came with his son. And the conversation truly was about how he felt if he doesn't leave a legacy, his son will not understand that he can do business in the Republic of Ghana and get it right and also be able to make money and impact lives. Those stories, we are increasingly, by our most recent conduct, reducing those stories to things that people can no longer hold dear. Because the examples we have in the likes of Kama are not as bright as they are being shown now. The other difficulty with this is that somebody ought to fully account for the period, which we have not done. We pretend to now tell stories about how we have paid everybody, we have spent this amount of money. Sometimes if you ask for breakdown, they do some gymnastics and move on with it. Somebody ought to fully account for that particular period and what we have done in the last 5, 6, or 7 years with the finances of this country. But ultimately, I just hope that people still believe that having to believe in Ghana's capital markets, having to believe in Ghana's financial system is not a dead end. It's not something that is completely gone, that we can revive that system properly and bring back, because it took us almost 3 decades to build a structure that is now almost bastardized to its knees. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether, even though we are telling people that, we are going to bounce back, we are bouncing back, the people who are supposed to put in their monies believe it.
Raymond, look, let's face it. Now, whenever you hear conversations about, no depositor lost his fund or anything, I laugh.
Yeah.
Because, look, first of all, how long, even for those who received their funds, how long did it even take some of them to get their money?
The time value.
Just last week, you saw old people demonstrating.
Yes. About locked up
investment
funds.
Locked funds. Forum. Yes, locked up funds as part of the financial sector cleanup. I would call it the financial sector cleanup. And you see, this is the worst part. There were many people who lost funds in the financial sector cleanup. Let nobody deceive you. There's always a talk about, so depositors did not lose their savings. Well, that's not wholly true.
Yeah.
There are people who lost funds. in the financial sector cleanup.
Again, the pot set are not the only people in the financial sector cleanup. So how about the investor?
The investors. So if you want to put your money in, say, a bank, in a bank account, I mean, that's okay, because these banks were taking over and so they were able to get their money. But for those who had invested in fund management firms, they lost their monies. So that one, let us not pretend they didn't lose money. They lost money. Now, haven't lost their funds. And I remember, I mean, there's one man who was speaking to me months ago. I don't have permission to mention his name, so I'm not going to mention his name. But he said, I lost a lot of money. So I then decided to invest in government of Ghana bonds. Hoping that, and as a pensioner, I mean, he tells me, look at me. I'm on retirement. And all I get is also losing those funds. As for Larry Jagger, as for him, he called. Yeah. We spoke to him on this show, so I can mention his name. Listen to him when he made those complaints. And so we have actually worried a lot of people. Unfortunately, and this is the worst part, all watchers of the economy knew by end of 2021 that we were going to go this way if we did not run to the IMF. The intransigence of the finance minister and President Akufo-Addo led us to where we are today, particularly the finance minister. Let me leave. Focus on Kanufurata. Okay. When everybody was saying that, Masa, be careful, we're getting into trouble. He said we're a proud nation. And we're a proud nation, we will make it. And he quoted a scripture to back it from the Old Testament. Now, by end of year, people had lost their funds. Today, go to these fund management firms and go say you want your money. It becomes a problem. Yeah. And so that person who's going to retirement, and this is the worst part, with inflation over 20%, me, when Saddam was seated here, if you ask me to go and put my money in any, investment, I will not. So what do? You keep your money in the bank, you get nothing, and at the end of the day, if the bank trades with your money, they won't give you anything because you don't even know. You are scared, and you're right. What it took us 30 years to build, in a year, we have destroyed it. And so today, people are even scared investing in this country. Yeah.
But if somebody worked over 30 years and saved his money and he cannot access it, what does it say to you sitting here today, a young person who is looking for opportunities? What worries me the most is that there are institutions in distress today. Open the phone lines right now and you have people calling, name institutions that are in existence today where they cannot get their monies. You see the investment holders forum made up of a lot of our pensioners go on protest. I mean, they went to the Ministry of Finance. They were trying to go to the Bank of Ghana. And it doesn't seem like anybody is even willing to hear them, to help them. So I don't know if it's a hopeless situation. I mean, these people didn't steal. These are their monies. They worked for it. They saved it. And they need access to it today and they can't get it.
You know what's ironic? I will end on this one because there's another story to be done. What's truly ironic here is that this is a government formed by a political party whose ideology is the capitalist ideology, right? They believe in the promotion of business. Well, first of all, this is the party that has put most businesses at risk through these, particular schemes, whether it's the banking or the financial sector cleanup or this domestic debt exchange program. They've put so many businesses at risk through it. This is also the same political party in government now that has actually managed to disprove two things that were almost gospel principles of economics. Number one, that the safest place to save your money is in a regulated financial institution. And number two, that the best place to invest your money is in government bonds. These are now two statements that we cannot state as facts in Ghana, thanks to the capitalist ideology political party in government. Okay. All right, here's another story that caught my eye.
But could you, before even you move on, there's another part he said that also caught my attention. I mean, he talks about how GRA is on their necks every time and they can't make payments.
Yes.
And also talks about how ECG will put it off and they have to go and rally money and also make it. So on one hand, they are suffering. The institution itself and investors are the ones who put their money into institutions.
Yep.
Hope you get what I'm trying to say. Shareholders, they are the ones who actually put their money into institutions. Then on the other hand, the people who should understand your pain and know how to engage you appear not to get the point. They also need their money quickly to do the things that they have to do. And yet we say we are having golden age of business, we are having whichever story we tell about businesses.
Not even a wooden age of business.
And this is where the problem is. There are times, and GRA would always say, when we did our assessment, your tax was a little bit, but this is the reality. If I didn't make profit, where are you going to get the money from?
That's true.
Shouldn't an institution like GRA be concerned that the Kama group of companies is in a certain situation, for instance, that they can't access their money?
You see,
so that you sit down with them and have a conversation.
This is actually where the issue is. So at the beginning of the year, your assessment, which to make sure that you pay them quarterly. Okay. Now, by the time, when it's time for you to go and pay, you go and pay. But it could so be that by the end of the year, you didn't even make that, and that would, so for me, this is where the challenge is, and the ECG bit. We are in this country that today, power is so. First of all, power is expensive in Ghana,
very expensive.
2, we don't even get access to the power. Now, the very thing which is so expensive in this country, we don't get it. And this is the worst part. Even when we have said, help us plan, because you won't provide us with the power. Help us plan. They say, no. Why should I help you plan? Because you are talking about things which only you know. For us, we don't know what you know, because we believe that we're good to go. This is where I agree with the Institute of Energy Security. We have reached the stage enough of, yes, we have dealt with ECG. ECG has begun shifting the post. Watch this carefully. They have now been issuing statements where they say grade co.
Outage.
Grade co outage is actually titled
now grade co. It is time grade co also comes out to tell us that what they are going through. Grade co, enough. Okay? You are there to serve the people of this country. Why? For those of you who find yourselves in there, you think you're not qualified to hold the positions you hold, and so you must serve the parochial interest of government and some few persons. You're there to serve the interest of the people. It is time you tell the people the truth. If we are going through, and the truth is that today we have shortfall in generation. The truth is that today we have shortfall in gas, for instance, some 55 standard cubic feet of gas. That is the truth. The truth is that today some of our plants are not working. The truth is that today, over the last week, we had to shed between 400 to 500 to 600 megawatts of power. Why is that difficult for GridCo to effectively communicate this to ECG? I learned that sometimes 1.5 hours to the time GridCo takes off the power, they communicate to ECG.
1.5 hours
before they take you off.
So you see why ECG is telling you
then
they
communicate to ECG. But that's what I have learned from my sources at ECG. I don't want to say that's the end of the world. So now, GridCo must start speaking to us, and we will demand that as of right.
You see, I've been saying it should have been GridCo from the beginning. Who manages the grid? Who? It's GridCo. So if you want to know whether there is load shedding going on, whether your grid is okay, it's GridCo that has to tell us. They should have been telling us from the beginning. This silence is sponsored by what? By who? And as for the GRA matter there, honestly, look, now I understand why the vice president was criticizing them. Because, look, since when did we start doing Ghana Card? Since when did we start doing Ghana Post GPS? All of that data is available to you at GRA. If you want to find those who need to pay taxes, the data is there. Instead of continuing to harass the same old law-abiding people every time, don't be lazy. Take the data, find those who need to pay tax, and go after them. All right, another story. The minority NDC in Parliament has described as disappointing the 400% increment in passport fees by government. Now, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, in a statement yesterday, adjusted the fees for applications ranging between 100 Ghana cedis to 500 Ghana cedis for the 32-page booklet and to 644. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, the fees, which used to be 100 Ghana cedis, have been adjusted to 500 Ghana cedis for the 32-page booklet, and 644 Ghana cedis for the 48-page booklet under the standard service. Now, for those who want expedited service, they'll pay 700 Ghana cedis for a 32-page booklet and 800 Ghana cedis for a 48-page booklet. Now, the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, Kweku Amprechum Sapong, has been justifying these new fees. Let's listen to him.
Until we are ready to invest, we will continue to have problems. Until we are ready to pay the realistic fees for passports, we will have problems. Otherwise, the little resources that we get, we will continue subsidizing the passport. $8. Liberia is doing biometric for $40. And Togo, yes. Supplied by the same supplier who supplies us with the passport.
Right. Now, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, says that his side will demand a review of the fees when the House reconvenes. Let's listen to him.
When the House resumes, we intend to revisit this matter because my recommendation, I believe, that is sound. Our committee was clear that this should not be done in one single swoop, and that it should be a graduated approach. So it's a matter we will revisit. We will summon the ministers and officials from the ministry.
Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Fascinating to hear him say that they will seek a review when they approved this earlier.
Mostly, of course, I'm not sure this is plenary approval. This is almost
a regulation.
Yes, the regulation. So you lay it. It takes a number of days. 21. Then automatically comes into effect. But that notwithstanding, I agree with those who say that at least even those on the subsidiary legislation committee who said who might have had problems with this should have actually raised made a lot of noise about it.
Yeah.
Because we heard of it. But see, because of the period, we thought, okay, well, somewhere in April will be a bit of it. Moving from 100 CD 32 page to 500 CD, it's not small.
Yeah.
It's a huge jump. On one hand, I feel we should be able to raise enough money to provide the service that we should be providing. On the other hand, I actually feel that it should be justified to all of us. We should get to know that the cost of actually buying the materials and everything, so the cost of producing one compared to whichever standards we are using, whichever quality we want, it should be this cost. So that would help us understand why 100 to 500 is justified. Assuming all products and services in this country assumed a similar trend, you know what that would do to inflation?
Can you imagine?
And again, a second group, and after that group, I dismiss it. Those who say that it's not compulsory to travel, so it's not compulsory to have a passport or anything of that sort. At some point, we should be more reasonable than if you have nothing reasonable to say, participating in the conversation.
That's my personal decision.
Yes.
It's a choice.
Now, secondly, this is a public service. Let's not get it wrong. That we are putting public service out of the reach of some people is unreasonable. That's what we should know. Yeah. And we should not pretend that merely because, and you see, it started with this thinking around expedited service. It's thinking around, if you want convenience. As if the public service, some people merely because they can afford, deserve extraordinary comfort and convenience in the pursuit of that. The ultimate problem I have with all of this conversation is that we are still pretending that if we go through a process and we have already passed it and it comes into effect, not much can change. This is not a Bible.
Oh, a lot can.
Yes, it is not. It is not codified as something that cannot be changed.
We did with the toll.
Oh yes, if the people of this republic say that this is what they want in pricing and it's not justified, there should be change.
I just want to see the breakdown of the cost. If it costs 500 CDs to produce a 32-page booklet, I want to know what's going into this booklet.
Normal service.
I want to know what's going into this booklet in 500 cedis is what it's costing. All right, listen, we're going straight for the BBC News now, brought to us by Fidelity Bank, believe with us. And Old Mutual, 10 years of greatness in Ghana, here for a lifetime.
We'll be finding out how impactful it might be.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
This week on People Fixing the World from the BBC World Service, it's all about the power of music. Find out how music is helping people living with Parkinson's manage their symptoms.
One lady said that she sometimes felt like a puppet with her strings all tangled up, and as soon as she heard the music, it was like they untangled them, and the music just helped her move much more freely.
Also, how it can help people with dementia feel calm and remember everyday tasks.
It makes me happy. I listen to it and I tend to use my fingers to sort of connect to it that way.
Plus, how music is uniting people affected by conflict.
The greatest impact I've seen is peace. People have connected and they have loved each other because of performing together and attending classes together.
The power of music. That's coming up on People Fixing the World with me, Myra Anubi, after the BBC News.
Hello, I'm Emily Thomas with the BBC News. The US-based charity World Central Kitchen says it's suspending its food distribution operations in Gaza after its 7 aid workers, most of them foreigners, were killed in an Israeli airstrike. The charity called the deaths a tragedy. Yolande Nell reports.
Video shot at Deir Bala Hospital in central Gaza shows the bodies of several aid workers and their foreign passports. They're wearing clothing including bulletproof vests bearing the World Central Kitchen logo. The organisation has been involved in sending the first aid to Gaza by sea from Cyprus. It says its workers had just unloaded more than 100 tons of food in a warehouse in Deir Bala. Their convoy is said to have coordinated its movements with the Israeli military when it was hit. The CEO of World Central Kitchen, Erin Gore, said it was an unforgivable attack on humanitarian organisations showing up in the most dire of situations. The charity is now pausing its operations and says it will make decisions about the future of its work soon.
Japan has become the latest country to resume funding to the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency, UNRWA. The Foreign Minister, Yoko Kamikawa, told reporters in Tokyo that it was her country's responsibility to respond to the worsening humanitarian crisis as a member of the UN Security Council. Iran says it will decide how to punish the aggressor after Monday's suspected Israeli airstrike on its consulate building in the Syrian capital, Damascus. At least 7 Iranian military men, including 2 senior commanders of the Revolutionary Guards, were killed. Iran's foreign minister called the strike a breach of all international conventions. Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah group said Israel's crime would not go unpunished. Speaking to the BBC, the leader of Israel's Labour Party, Merav Michaeli, gave this reaction.
Israel did not claim responsibility for that, but that Iran has been threatening Israel forever. I mean, Iran is behind Hezbollah, is behind Hamas, is behind so many of the aggressions against Israel and has been along all the way.
The former US President Donald Trump has posted a $175 million bond in his New York civil fraud case. He was found liable in February for fraudulently inflating his net worth by billions of dollars to secure better loan terms. He has denied wrongdoing and said the case was a political witch hunt. Here's Peter Bowes.
Donald Trump was originally ordered to pay $454 million. Mr. Trump said he would appeal, but his lawyers insisted it was a practical impossibility to fund a bond of that size while the legal process moved forward. Last month, a panel of judges agreed to slash the amount, which has now been met by a bond company based in California. It means Mr. Trump avoids the threat of having some of his properties seized to meet the court's demand.
This is the latest world news from the BBC. The highest court in the US state of Florida has upheld a Republican-backed law that bans abortion after just 6 weeks of pregnancy. The restriction will come into effect in May. Until now, Florida has allowed abortions up to 15 weeks from the start of a pregnancy. Foreign and justice ministers from a number of countries are due to meet in The Hague later today for an international conference on Ukraine. The Ukrainian Foreign Minister, Dmytro Kuleba, will also take part in the talks. Anna Holligan reports.
The delegates will focus on the alleged atrocities committed in the 2 years since the start of the Russian invasion. Attacks on schools, hospitals, power plants, allegations of torture, rape and murder. There is a broad agreement on the need for these crimes to be documented, investigated and prosecuted. The ministers will discuss the most appropriate and feasible forum for any future trials to take place. They will also express support for long-term efforts to provide truth, justice and compensation for the victims.
The United States, South Korea and Japan have condemned North Korea for test-firing another ballistic missile. South Korea's military said the missile was launched from the Pyongyang region into the East Sea. Tokyo said it flew about 600 kilometres before falling into the waters outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. This was the third ballistic missile test by Pyongyang, after one in March and another in January. The newly elected president of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, is due to be sworn into office later today. He'll become Senegal's youngest ever president, and a BBC correspondent says many see him as a symbol of hope and change. He'd been released from prison shortly before the vote as a result of a government amnesty. The lead up to the election was marred by violent protests after the outgoing president tried to delay the vote till the end of the year. World News from the BBC.
People fixing.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Good energy powers the things that people do to empower themselves. It fuels families, communities, businesses. Good energy fuels nations. It gets things going and keeps them moving. Good energy isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Goil, good energy.
And that's why I choose Goil. I'm a Zuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion, and a patriot.
Goil is good energy.
What name brightens the streets, homes, and businesses of Ghana? What company has been providing world-class backup power to Ghanaians for 30 years?
G&J Technical Services.
Final answer?
Yes, G&J, final answer.
Correct.
G&J is celebrating 30 years of providing backup power in Ghana. As the largest supplier of world-class generators in the country, we have been the backbone of Ghana's alternative power industry by delivering the best sales, maintenance, and after-sales solutions the nation has ever seen. We've done it for 30 years, and we promise that the future will be even brighter. Reach us in Accra on 030-268-9178 or 9179 and 020-222-2204 all the way to 2220. And in Kumasi on 020-222-236 or 020-222-2220.
When the pain is too much, don't know what else to do. So Rapinol will take the pain away. Rapinol,
Rapinol is what you need. Rapinol will relieve you of all aches and pain in your body. Rheumatic pain, menstrual pain, body pain, toothaches, and other feverish conditions. Rapinol is a quality product from Danex Itin Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. Not suitable for children below 16 years old, asthmatic, and ulcer patients. This advert is FDA approved.
Ooh, things are looking up on this side.
When you upgrade to the enhanced GCB mobile app, you start doing more with ease.
Create a GCB instant account easily and conveniently with your GCB mobile app and start sending and receiving funds. All you need is your Ghana card.
Pay your bills, subscriptions, and fees to multiple merchants safe and secure.
Charlie, tap the app. Open a GCB instant account and experience the recoded vibe.
You're able to top up on all types of ECG prepaid meters with their special card readers and keep the power on. No worries, no stress.
With GCB mobile app, you can also generate prepaid and virtual cards to use on ATM machines, POS devices, and for online transactions.
Well, I pay my subscriptions and fees with my GCB mobile app conveniently.
GCB mobile app. Download now from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Upgrade your style. GCB Bank. Your bank for life.
Morning Show.
Great news is here. Batmat is here again. XXL clearance sale. Guaranteed savings. From now till the end of April, the big sale continues. Get discounts of up to 70% off sanitary wares, light tiles, waterproofing, and all other product families. It's the year to get things done. Visit our showroom at the North Industrial Area next to the Winners Chapel, Ghana. Don't miss out. Batmat, welcome home.
He said that I blow his mind every time I'm activated. You just trying to catch a vibe. CC got you fascinated.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
How we roll. You know what it is, what it is. That's just how we roll. You know what it is, what it is. How we roll. Summer in the wind. You look at me like that, it can we make another kid. You're my heart, I'm your rib. If I ever had to for you, I would do a bid. And I can tell that you're ready. 3, 2, 1, it's going down like confetti. Water 10 to 1 shots again. If we do it on a phone, promise that we're gonna trend.
in darkness. So.
Yes.
But Kojo, before we continue, it's a Tuesday, and so it means the UPSA Law School Point
Let's
of Law
do that
series.
first.
And in the month of April, the focus is on rent. And so this one says, it is unlawful for a landlord to forcibly remove or evict a tenant who fails to pay rent or whose tenancy has expired without an order of a court. And that's Karam and Ashka, 1963 one, GLR 138. I take it again. It's unlawful for a landlord to forcibly remove or evict a tenant who fails to pay rent or whose tenancy has expired without an order of a court.
So if you take the rent and the gentleman is refusing to pay again or for some other reason, those they used to say that their children are coming from abroad, and now they don't use those ones again. All right, I'm sure their children are all here now. So, or they have no plans of returning to the country. Yeah. And you want to remove the person, you have to go with an order from a court.
Yeah.
It appears to be a very long, legal, tedious. Even hiring a lawyer to go through the process will be difficult. Yeah. Why don't we just find an ombudsman somewhere, like the rent control? Yeah, issuing, fairly simple process, because we know it's not overburden our judicial system with a bit of the complexities that come with this. Because this is a fairly simple process.
You just have to hope that we don't suddenly have a big need for enforcement with people, actually operating in violation of it.
That's it.
So that there is a need to rather correct after the fact.
The landlords, they'll come and they'll force you to leave indirectly.
They have their ways.
I believe this is actually because of how we do our things as a people. And so people abuse the process, and so the belief is that the court will do a better job.
Oh, okay.
The court will do a better job because look, people will abuse this. Trust me. And so I like it, but because you have a lot of landlords. They start and they say, but now they don't do my child is coming again.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering whether the children no longer come or they are all here.
There's a story we tell. One of a guy I know who's unmarried, and his landlord ejected him.
Okay.
for the mere fact that
he's not married.
No, for the mere fact that he's not living a good life.
Yeah. I mean, some of them, their theory is that
you're not living good
if
life.
you're married, you bring a lot of women around. There may be chaos. We don't like that kind of chaos. So this place is not for unmarried people. That's what they tell you. Actually, so they want to meet. So yes, are you single or you are married? So,
but is that what is happening in the world? Single people, there's chaos in their homes.
No, I mean it's a useless strategy. Okay. Some landlord told me some time ago that he wants to do expansion of the building, so I should move. Up to now, he has not done the expansion. I'm not sure if the economic situation has prevented the expansion.
The expansion happened when you moved. The room became bigger. All right, listen. Today, another thing that we're preoccupied with is the effects of these power outages. Of doomso, right? And there are some sectors that are affected worse than others. And I think hospitals in particular are getting quite a raw deal out of this, okay? On Friday, you guys spoke to Dr. Promise Sepfoga. He's a consultant OBGYN and fertility specialist at Shape Healthcare. He's the vice president of FERSOG. And of course, the question of the effects of doomso was put to him. This is what he had to say.
Very, very well managing under the circumstances.
You're working today?
You have some surgeries, but you can't be sure about, this power. Sometimes you're in surgery and the lights go off. And so it affects even planning. Some surgeries can wait, but if you have a cancer surgery, you cannot wait for too long. So that's why, as a medical association, we are calling for schedule. If we knew, they would say, okay, all our surgeries, we're going to have power on Tuesday. So book surgeries. Patient, come on admission Monday, we do surgeries for you on Tuesday. But I'm working in the dark. I book you for Wednesday. Wednesday there's no power. Genset is working all right, but to what extent? Genset is supposed to be a stopgap. Light goes off, it comes in quickly, so there's no break, and the lights come. But the exception is becoming the rule. We wish and pray things get better for our country.
Yeah, all right. So that's just one example, right? Private facility. But it's not only the private facilities. Government hospitals are suffering too. Konfanochi Teaching Hospital is no exception. Listen to an excerpt from this report done by Joy News.
The recent power cuts have adversely affected healthcare delivery at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital and the Menchia Government Hospital, leading to the ravaging impact on medical equipment. The uninformed nature of the outages has destroyed several life-saving equipment dependent on power. At the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, one of its reliable uninterrupted power supply system has failed to respond after erratic surges. Joy News' sources says the outages have also contributed to the failure of an extensive range of life support and critical medical equipment. The power can be on and off several times within minutes, and that is what the source describes as most disruptive and damaging. A lot of other appliances are getting spoiled as voltage could drop from 300 to 156. The Menchia Government Hospital was also hit by the outages. The facility has had to depend on its standby generator set whenever power trips, compounding activities at the hospital. For Joy News, Nana Boache Dankwa Kumasi.
So this is the real problem. Okay, this happened to me, by the way, over the weekend. Last night alone, my lights went off 5 times.
Yeah,
and came
on
back
Saturday, mine was also 5.
All right. So you ask yourself, what's going to happen to your fridge and all of these machines?
I complain about my TV.
Yes.
I've been having a long fight with Winston over when to buy, how to buy, and replacing the TV. It's a very painful thing, and it's more expensive now. But now, I can't go to ECG and go and say that, hey, give me back my TV.
Imagine that.
But it is the pain you harbor in your heart on unplanned expenditure of that sort being imposed on you merely because you are in Ghana.
And that's you and me. Now you think about scale it up for what it does to institutions. All right, like these hospitals we've been hearing from. Now the Ghana Medical Association has weighed in. Let's listen to Dr. Richard Selome, who happens to be their general secretary.
2 hours is too long a time, and so it's important that we discuss this issue in that context. Of course, our members across the country are reporting various challenges. Some have had to use torches to complete surgeries during procedures. Some have had to revert to the paper systems because the systems were down. And so it's a challenge. It's a big challenge that is happening across the country. And we need to immediately begin to discuss ways to address that. In some places, in quite a lot of places, the local VRA or ECG substations will call some of the management members. But many situations are also happening where unplanned power outages are happening and affecting hospitals. Sometimes you are working in my own facility recently, the power was just flickering, going off and on, off and on. So this doesn't help the conversation. And that is why for us as an association, we are not bothered about what people want to call it. So whatever you want to call it, we don't really bother about that. What is important is that for critical installations as hospitals, they need to know the timing of these outages, especially where we know that they are being done at certain times.
Richard Selome there, speaking for the Ghana Medical Association. Very valid point, right?
Yes.
If you know in advance, it will actually save lives.
Can we plead with the people who are in charge of the energy sector that if they will not give the rest of us, because they consider us businesses, residential users, and other groupings who are not so relevant to the country, because we are inconsequential. Please isolate the hospitals.
The essential facilities.
Yes. Those ones, it's life and death matter. They are not, even with the full power running, what are the chances of people surviving? How much more you removing or reducing the odds available for anybody to survive under the circumstance?
So
we beg you, we are just making the lives of these doctors and health service professionals, we are just compounding their woes by forcing them to work under very, very strenuous conditions. It doesn't make sense.
No.
So I agree. Don't give us, this timetable, we'll be saying it, but it appears to not come.
So we were asked to do our own.
Yes,
so we are doing our own.
Give it to only the hospitals, okay? You can do it in secret. They can swear an oath that will not share with the rest of us. You can do so because it's becoming preposterous. now it's threatening lives. The human beings are supposed to protect in this country.
Look.
And that's what we should be concerned about.
Look, the whole idea of, in the past when we're having conversations about prepaid and postpaid, the only reason why we said hospitals should be on postpaid is because we didn't want a situation where, in the course of the performance of their functions, the lights would go off. Now, I know hospitals that today, before they even perform surgeries, they put it on their plants. So they actually go on their plants.
So the backup is now the main power source.
The backup has become the main power source because they just don't want the situation where the lights could go off. Yeah. And that's where the problem is.
How many of the facilities can even afford to do this?
Mama V, Raymond, we don't need people to just go and strike a deal with hospitals. Let us respect the sensibilities of Ghanaians. That in this country, 2024, this is not 1998 where we're going 24 hours off, 24 hours on. This is 2024.
Last week, we shared 400 to 600 megawatts of power. So that means somebody knows in advance. Somebody knows. Gridco, better wake up.
Wake up to joy, joy, joy. Sunshine and joy in the morning time. Yeah. Wake up to the super morning show. Yeah. Wake up to joy.
All right, then. So, listen, Imperial General Assurance brings you the collision insurance policy, okay? Now they give you insurance beyond the road. The collision insurance from Imperial General gives you protection in the event of a collision with another car or an object. Now, the policy will offer you repair of your damaged car parts resulting from the collision, hospitalization benefits if you're admitted beyond 3 days, and you need not even be involved in an accident to benefit. All third-party benefits are also available. So get collision insurance from Imperial. Call them today on 0577 667 436 or talk to your broker or any of their agents across the country for further details. You can also follow them on all of their social media handles. Terms and conditions apply. Collision insurance, insurance beyond the road. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection.
Now, G&J, your reliable alternative backup power solutions provider, is 30 years old, and we wish to thank all our cherished partners and customers for being part of this journey. As we embrace the future with brighter hopes, we look forward to providing you with the best backup power service to your homes, offices, churches, and more. We're still the largest backup power supply in the country, and with our 24-hour service delivery, we are poised to give you the best brands in backup power and after-sales services. Locate G&J in Accra off the Mortuary Road to Kolibu. Call G&J on 0302 689 178 or 030 268 9179. Also 020 2222 204. G&J is also in Kumasi. Call them on 020 222236 or 020 222220.
Now, a poorly maintained car engine can age faster. That we know for a fact. That's why we offer specially formulated quartz engine oil with age resistance technology. And I know somebody who's got that too. It's a breakthrough innovation that ensures optimal performance for your engine and improves protection against mechanical wear by up to 74%, even under extreme temperatures and pressure. Choosing quartz from Total Energies is choosing the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and effectively. Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer.
Well, it's difficult to keep good news to yourself, especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, but this year we're even lower. Yes, Yatisubium. Are you an SG Ghana customer or on the Control and Accountant General's payroll? Then get the money you need to turn your dreams into a reality. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you and speak to a dedicated staff about the amazing Yatisubium loans available today. You can also call 0302 214 314 for more details. Offer runs till the 7th of June 2024. Terms and conditions apply. SG Ghana, the future is you.
Now, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is still your number one supplier of quality office essentials, equipment, furniture, and, of course, stationery. You can pay for whatever you like at kingdomstoreonline.com via Momo across all networks, and they'll deliver to your home or office in very good time. Free delivery for those of you in Accra or Tema. Terms and conditions do apply. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
And we have exciting news for you. You can now get your Omnibusek Visa Classic debit card instantly at any of our branches nationwide. Yes, it's instant with new and improved features, contactless and verified by Visa. So why wait? Visit any of the branches nationwide and get your Omnibusek Visa Classic debit card today. It's instant, secure and convenient. Omnibusek Bank at your service.
Now, if you're a Toyota user, this is the revolution you'll be waiting for. Now, if you want your Toyota engine to function optimally, then there's only one choice: the Toyota Genuine Motor Oil. The Toyota Genuine Motor Oil has been rigorously tested and proven to be the best oil for your Toyota engine, specially crafted to keep your engine running smoothly and efficiently. The Toyota Genuine Motor Oil is available at all Toyota Ghana branches across the country. Nothing makes your engine happier than Toyota Genuine Motor Oil. For bulk purchases or distribution, contact Toyota Ghana on 0302 429 801. Toyota Ghana Company Limited is proud to be associated with the Joy FM Joy News Drive Safety Tips on the Super Morning Show. Toyota, superior quality.
And the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System PAPS is now live at Fidelity Bank. Imagine sending money to your loved ones or business partners across Africa instantly and in Ghana cities. Don't wait for days for transactions to clear. No more expensive fees, just fast, secure, and affordable payments. PAPS is here, and Fidelity Bank makes sending money through PAPS easy. Visit any Fidelity Bank branch and start sending money across Africa instantly, securely, and affordably to Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Fidelity Bank, believe with us.
All right, well, it's time now for us to bring you your birthdays and sports and more on the Super Morning Show.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year. Only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN just for you. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique just for you package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Have you ever thought of the one that makes you complete? An escape from the clutches of interest charges. With the Standard Chartered Visa debit and credit cards, payments are completed at the speed of light, intertwined with interest-earning accounts. You also get unbelievable rewards every time you swipe. You have access to over 1,200 airport lounges worldwide. High credit limits of up to 100,000 Ghana cedis and up to 50 days interest-free with our credit cards. You also get to enjoy full multi-trip travel insurance for 90 days. Fees discounted at your feet with our globally partnered merchant points. Bills are always settled, not battled. Get the Standard Chartered debit and credit card now. Call toll-free on 0800 740 100 or 0302 740 100 or reach us via email on feedback.ghana@sc.com. Standard Chartered, here for good.
Alrighty, birthday messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by MTN, everywhere you go, and Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. Right.
And this one says, happy 24th birthday to you, my amazing first son. Watching you grow into the incredible person you are today fills my heart with pride and joy. May this year bring you endless blessings, happiness, and success. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Here's to many more wonderful years ahead. And this is coming from Mercy Quino to her son, Michael. Michael Queno. So Mercy Queno to Michael Queno. And also, it's a happy birthday to Mrs. Diana Boateng, who's Protocol Officer at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. May God Almighty continue to bless you for all the good things you do in this world. From Fentio, Tahiru Fentio, and the entire Joy Sports team.
All right. Any others? No?
I think I have one here. It's a belated happy birthday to the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Mike Okwe Jr. Your relentless dedication to driving investment and economic growth in our country is truly inspiring. Wishing you continued success and prosperity from the management and staff of the Ghana Free Zones Authority.
All right. Now, happy birthday to my childhood friend, Kujafo. You know that childhood friend who your parents always try to keep you away from because when the two of you come together, trouble. Yes, that was Kujafo for me. Happy birthday, Kujo. Also, happy birthday to Mensa Agbenyega Mandela Ochre. Oh, how are you, Mandela? Happy birthday. Amagana Akwesi Sribwo Boating, Papa Kwame Nasasa, Irene Dankwa, Elom Nunana Biliawito, Bleobi Nilante Okunka, Eugene Abwaji Kumi, Jojo Rocky Obing, and Nana Tando. Happy birthday to all of you. Okay, then, I guess the Joy Sports Center is now brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, Standard Chartered Bank. Here for good. DSTV, it's your moment. Twisco Energy Food Drink, Twisco, power your dream. And Bet Power.
Listen, imagine a world where your home or business is powered by the sun's boundless energy. Well, picture your rooftop transform into a solar sanctuary, radiating with eco-friendly vibes and city-saving brilliance. Well, dream no more. With Standard Chartered's renewable energy loans, you can turn this dream into a dazzling reality. And guess what? Our renewable energy loans come at very low rates. That's right. We're not just offering loans, we're offering the keys to your solar-powered kingdom. Say goodbye to high electricity bills and step into a new world where every watt generated is a step towards a brighter, more sustainable future. So if you're ready to take control of your energy destiny and switch to solar today, give Standard Chartered a call on any of these phone numbers: 050-153-5789 or 050-153-5790, also 0244-674-154. Let's chart a course for a brighter tomorrow and make your solar dreams shine brighter than ever before. Standard Chartered, here for good.
And did you know that MTN Momo has an app? Yes, MTN Momo has a brand new app specially designed to make your Momo experience easier, convenient, and faster. Just download the Momo app on Play Store, App Store on your smartphone and look out for the blue and yellow icon. It's that simple. Momo app allows you to view your statements, pay bills, and so much more. Use the app for your Momo transactions and enjoy a 100% bonus when you recharge using the Momo app. So go on, download the Momo app now and start transacting with the Flex at no data cost. Just Momo it everywhere you go.
Here for the Joy Sports Center, my name is Victor Achutamakle. This morning we're going to start with athletics, and President of Ghana Athletics, Bafaseni, has stressed the need for the tartan tracks at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium to be watered at least 3 times a week post the African Games. He says this will ensure that the Mondo certified tracks last beyond 10 years and keep them in shape for elite competitions.
We need to water it. My first running that I did outside Ghana was in Thailand when I was a student. I got there Thailand in the morning in the stadium. The running surface was wet, so I didn't understand. So I asked the guy, so no, this has to be watered every day. So in Thailand, they water their tracks every single day. Before you come in the morning, it looks as if it rains. And it keeps the running surface in a very good condition and fresh. And it can last 10 years or 15 years. But if you don't do that, within 3-4 years, you see it cracking. So we have to discuss with University Authority and the ministry that the tracks at Legon Stadium must be watered at least 3 times in a week for us to keep its quality and its standard to the next 10 years.
Still in matters relating to the just ended African Games, sprinter Joseph Paul Amwa says his 200-meter victory was a compensation for Ghana's losing the 4x100-meter relay title to Nigeria. The West African country deprived Ghana's relay team of defending the gold medal they won in 2019 by just 0.02 seconds. Joe Paul says he was not going to settle for anything other than the gold medal after that miss.
Making it to the finals was that last step where it's like, okay, right now you're here. You have to get on the podium. And I don't just want to get on the podium. I want to get on the highest point of the podium. I just knew that doing it in front of the home fans would be the best moment. It was just something that I wanted to do to, take away that I'll say that the sadness that happened when we didn't get the gold. I know silver is okay, but I know Ghanaians want the gold. So I was like, hey, if we couldn't get the gold in the relay, I might as well just do it in the 200 finals for them. So everything that was going on in my mind was just win, 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 win. I wasn't going to accept anything less gold, yeah.
The former national 200-meter record holder also disclosed there was pressure running in front of the home crowd, but he turned that pressure into fuel for success.
Running in front of the home fans, I definitely knew there was going to be pressure. So I just wanted to make sure I used the energy that the crowd gave me in every race that I run. Coming off the bend is like I could just feel that energy, If a Ghanaian is not in front, you wouldn't really hear anything. If you're in front and people are chasing you, you're going to be hearing something. Like, hey, hurry up, they're coming, hurry up, they're coming. I just wanted to make sure I used that energy to boost myself in every race, be it heat, semifinals, finals, wherever. It was just a matter of making sure that I make the pressure make me great rather than letting it break me on the track.
Football next. The Ghana amputee national team has begun campaign ahead of the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. The squad consists of 8 professionals based in Turkey and 10 Ghana-based players. The reigning African champions will pay a courtesy call on the sports minister in the coming days before the campaign begins on April 5th ahead of the tournament in Cairo. The tournament starts from the 19th of this month to the 28th of the month. European football next.
But it's still Kanyeri who insists with Viola. Thinks in the cross. Going to break here and the shot driven into the bottom corner. Kanyeri draw level. Suleimana has come on off the bench and a handful of seconds later draws Kanyeri level.
Ghana's Ibrahim Suleimana scored a wonderful leveler for Cagliari to end a 1-1 draw against his former club, Hellas Verona, in the Italian Serie A last night. The 28-year-old came off the bench in the 72nd minutes for his first minutes in over a month, scoring the leveler just 2 minutes later. The goal was Suleimana's second in the league in 14 appearances in the Serie A. Let's go to England now, where Mohamed Kudus' season is going from strength to strength.
Mohamed Kudus here for West Ham, accelerating away from Gregoritsch, who tried to pull him back. He's got away from Eggestein. Kudus, what a brilliant run! Oh, what an unbelievable goal from Mohamed Kudus! Fantastic goal!
He just keeps getting better. The 23-year-old's 2 goals against Freiburg in March in the Europa League have been nominated for West Ham's Goal of the Month. Kudus scored twice to power the Hammers into the quarters of the Europa League. The first, which was an astonishing solo goal, is almost certain to win the award. Speaking of West Ham, they face Tottenham Hotspur later tonight in the Premier League clash at the London Stadium. This comes on the back of a 4-3 defeat to Newcastle United over the weekend, where Calvin Phillips also gave away a penalty shortly after coming on. The 28-year-old was allegedly caught making an offensive gesture to fans while getting on the team bus after Saturday's loss. West Ham boss is David Moyes. He says Phillips needs help and support.
Calvin's a human being and can do things which we all do at different times, but what he needs is support, and he needs support behind him. He needs people to help him. We're going to stand with him, help him as much as we possibly can. We need all our support to give all our players, whoever it is, the support they require. Well, he's fine. He's back training. We've all moved on from the weekend. We've got ourselves ready. We've got a big game coming up, and we're getting ready for that now.
Well, the Tottenham Hotspur coach Ange Postecoglou says his goal is to change perceptions about the club, not where they will finish at the end of the season.
To me, it's all irrelevant. Like I said, what's important for me is that I've said it quite a few times is that we want to finish the season strong and keep building on the foundation of being a team that hopefully in 12 months' time people are looking at us differently and talking about us differently. And to do that, it can't just be about where you finish or how many points you get. It's got to be more than that. But obviously, if we finish the season strong, we'll finish in a decent position, and we'll see where that takes us.
Meanwhile, relegation threatened Burnley take on Wolves at the Turf Moor. Burnley manager Vincent Kompany has criticised the standard of officiating in the Premier League, saying it's not good enough. Kompany was shown a red card during the 2-2 draw at Chelsea on Saturday for protesting against a penalty decision which led to defender Lawrence Assignon being sent off. 6 Burnley players have been sent off in 30 games this season, the most of any Premier League team.
No, look, I'll keep saying what I think. You know, it's I'm not going to shy away from it. I've said it to the referees themselves, the officials. I've said it to all the responsibles that I thought, you know, refereeing hasn't been good enough this season, and I have said that in I think a constructive way, understanding as well the fact that it's not easy for them, that the scrutiny is massive, the pressure is bigger than it's ever been on the officials. The addition of VAR and obviously more opinions, more officials doesn't make it easy for them to do their job.
Elsewhere, Antoine Semenyo's AFC Bournemouth will face Jordan Ayew and Jeffrey Schlupp's Crystal Palace at the Vitality Stadium, while Newcastle United will host Everton in that match, with Nottingham Forest also taking on Fulham in the days at the game in the Premier League. Elsewhere, Fenerbahce members will decide on Tuesday whether the club will withdraw from the Turkish Super League. In March, the 19-time title winner said they would consider withdrawing from the league after their players were attacked by Trabzonspor fans. Fenerbahce won the game by 3-2, and Trabzonspor fans entered the pitch attacking security officers and players on duty that day. At Tuesday's extraordinary General Assembly meeting, members will vote on whether the club should withdraw from the competition or not. Before we go, Formula One owner Liberty Media has bought MotoGP in a deal valued at £3.6 billion. The US media conglomerate, which took control of Formula One in 2017, has purchased the motorbike series from Spanish company Dorna Sport, which has owned MotoGP since 1992. The deal will see Liberty acquire 86% of Dorna, with Dorna's management retaining the rest of the business. And that's how we end the Sports Center this morning. Back to you, Mama V.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for sports, Achu. There's more sports stories on myjoyonline.com, but social media messages on our show brought to us by EcoBank, a better way, a better Africa, Provident Insurance with Provident, man, you're covered, and Mala2 from NS Chemist for the effective treatment of malaria in both adults and children.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Hello? Fair driver, are you sending the sales?
Boss, Medicana Kopim.
Hey, what the car to me so?
Boss, you no renew the insurance.
Tell it, I didn't have time, oh. I had to go to the farm.
You can insure on the farm.
And I had to go to the market too.
You could have insured in the market.
I had to cook supper for my wife.
Boss, you could have insured in the market.
But how?
By texting or buyer on 0242 426 396 to help insure with Provident Insurance on WhatsApp from anywhere. Annie, bebia. With Obaya, now you can insure your car anywhere, anytime. On WhatsApp, text Obaya on 0242 426 396 today. With Provident,
man, you are covered.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Turn up the volume.
It's 53 minutes after 7. You're on Joy on the Super Morning Show 99.7. And of course, you're welcome. Send us WhatsApp messages on 05511119997. You can also post on xjoy997 with a hashtag JoySMS. You can also send us messages on Facebook as well. Social media messages brought to us proudly by EcoBank, a better way, a better Africa, Provident Insurance. With Provident, man, you're covered. And Mala 2 from Ernest Chemist for the effective treatment of malaria in both adults and children. So every day we face different emergencies. Hopefully you don't have a police emergency as we speak, or you don't record a fire emergency or a medical emergency. But if you have any money emergency, well, rest assured there's a short code that will come to your rescue anytime, any day, anywhere. Star 770 hash is accessible. It's the EcoBank money emergency number, and star 770 hash gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payment, airtime, and data purchases. So much more you can do with star 770 hash, even without data. So no need at all to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial star 770 hash now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank is the Pan-African bank. And you can now get your vehicle insured anywhere, anytime with Provident Insurance's Obaya on WhatsApp. She works round the clock, so you don't have to worry about closing times. Bebia. You can get Obaya to either buy, renew, and file claims for your vehicle. Bebia. All you have to do is just chat Obaya on 0242 426 396 0242 426 396 and let Obaya help you. It's quick, convenient, reliable, and saves you time so you can do more in your day. Chat Obaya and get your vehicle insured now on Provident Insurance. So text Obaya, Bebia. With Provident, man, you're covered.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
In 4 minutes, we'll cross over and bring you the Joy Business Minutes, brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you. Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Wyca Recapital together towards tomorrow. But today on the Super Morning Show, we've been talking about doomsday for a while now. We've been talking about ourselves as individuals. We've been commenting about the situation in our homes. But today, we settle on specific sectors that are heavily affected by the blackouts. We talk about institutions such as this one.
2 hours is too long a time. And so it's important that we discuss this issue in that context. Of course, our members across the country are reporting various challenges. Some have had to use torches to complete surgeries during procedures. Some have had to revert to the paper systems because the systems were down. And so it's a challenge. It's a big challenge that is happening across the country, and we need to immediately begin to discuss ways to address that. In some places, in quite a lot of places, the local VRA or ECG substations will call some of the management members. But many situations are also happening where unplanned power outages are happening and affecting hospitals. Sometimes you are working in my own facility recently, the power was just flickering, going off and on, off and on. So this doesn't help the conversation. And that is why, for us as an association, we are not bothered about what people want to call it. So whatever you want to call it, we don't really bother about that. What is important is that for critical installations as hospitals, they need to know the timing of these outages, especially where we know that they are being done at certain times.
Very, very well managing under the circumstances.
Oh, you're working today?
You have some surgeries, but you can't be sure about, this power. Sometimes you're in surgery and the lights go off. And so it affects even planning. Some surgeries can wait, but if you have a cancer surgery, you cannot wait for too long. So that's why, as a medical association, we are calling for schedule. If we knew, they would say, okay, all our surgeries, we are going to have power on Tuesday. So book surgeries Patient, come on admission Monday. We do surgeries for you on Tuesday. But I'm working in the dark. I book you for Wednesday. Wednesday there's no power. Genset is working all right, but to what extent? Genset is supposed to be a stopgap. Light goes off, it comes in quickly, so there's no break, and the lights come. But the exception is becoming the rule. We wish and pray things get better for our country.
So we'll talk about the facilities, the hospitals, the medical facilities affected by the situation of the Doomso right here on the Super Morning Show. We've got about 30 seconds to 8. At 8, we'll bring you the business minutes, and then we'll get down and talk about this matter properly here on the Super Morning Show. But you can send us your messages 055-1111-997 if you work in a health facility wherever in the country, and there is a situation that you want to let us be aware of, please send us WhatsApp messages 055-1111-997. Right now it's 8 o'clock, so let's go for the Joy Business Minute. Here's the Joy Business Minutes.
Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Waikari Capital, together towards tomorrow. The National Petroleum Authority has indicated that it has delayed the implementation of the price floor for petroleum products to April 16, 2024. Ghana will today undergo scrutiny over its performance under the IMF program. Interest rates have taken another nosedive for the 13th consecutive week this year. However, the government's Treasury bill target was undersubscribed by 50.69% because the Treasury decided to keep the yields down in order to reduce the cost of borrowing. And Microsoft has said it's splitting the Teams business messaging and video app from its office software globally. And that's the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Waikari Capital, together towards tomorrow.
Super Morning Show. It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town. Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
That's right, and we're grateful to Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you, Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Waikari Capital, together towards tomorrow. They bring us the Business Minute here on the Super Morning Show every weekday, 8 a.m.
Let me bring you the good news from Waikari Capital. This is a multinational fund management company regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Waikari Capital, with experience in fund management and investment banking, has over the years helped its customers to thrive by enabling them to achieve their lifetime financial goals. Waikari Capital invests funds in ways that create a positive future for all of its customers, their families and businesses, and offers corporate finance and advisory services. In these ways, Waikari Capital helps its customers to create the best life, the reasonable expectation of life at its highest level, the one that Mama V aspires to get. You too can also create your best life. Just speak to Waikari Capital today on 0501 577 546 or 0501 577 547. Locate their office on the 4th floor, Gulf House, opposite the Ghana Standards Authority here in Accra. Waikari Capital. You can also get them on this website, waikaricapital.com, for more information. Waikari Capital, together towards tomorrow. Yes.
Listen, join our all-important conversation on essential facilities that are being affected by the blackouts. 055-1111-997. That's our WhatsApp number that you can join in. If you work in any health facility in this country, please reach out and tell us about how Doomso is affecting the operations of the facility. You can also post on X, that's Joy997, and kindly do so with the hashtag JoySMS. Also send us messages on Facebook. Big stories here on the Super Morning Show, brought to us by Telecel, connecting energies. Latest film, Your Partner for Life, and Emirates. Fly Emirates, certainly fly better.
And you're about to have the world at your fingertip because the wait is finally over. Mama, we know Telecel is here, and you, a customer, potential customer, or pretentious customer, you certainly will be. I won't say very good morning to Patricia Obunai. Yes. Now that you have everything you want and need, quick, and yes, I mean, what?
Is there a reason you've been saying good morning to her every time?
Yes. Whenever Telecel is here, I actually have to say good morning to Patricia Obunai.
It's not because you're expecting anything in return.
No. As is always expected
I am
of me.
just setting the record straight.
Unlike her very good self, I am clearly.
You're not on air. We can't.
I don't believe family and friends.
No, but Mama V is only suggesting
that
because anytime she's mentioned somebody,
yes,
the feeling is that this is Mama V's client. Is it the case that Patricia Obunai is your client?
Not
you're expecting something.
We are not
yes. We are customers. Telecel, you are about to have the world at your fingertips because the wait is finally over. Now you have everything you want and need. Quick and reliable communication. Stress-free money transactions via Telecel Cash. Transforming your big business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business and more. Now connect with us and connect with Telecel and enjoy a world of endless possibilities. Because with Telecel, there is no limit, and I repeat, there is no limit to connections. Telecel, connecting energies.
Can I say good morning to the MD of Waikari Capital and latest foam?
How is that connected to
the perfect sofa? And I'm talking about latest foam. Dreaming of the perfect sofa to upgrade this year. Your dream sofa is now a reality. At latest foam, Mama V, introducing our sensational V sofa range where comfort meets style at prices that will make your heart skip a beat. Hop into the latest foam showroom nationwide to dive into a world of colors and choices, from the sleek L-shaped V sofa at just 3,100 to the complete V sofa set for an unbeatable 6,500. You have the opportunity to elevate your living space with latest foam, your forever partner in comfort and luxury. Harry, your perfect sofa waist. Latest foam, your partner for life.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Our members across the country are reporting various challenges. Some have had to use torches to complete surgeries during procedures. Some have had to revert to the paper systems because the systems were down. And so it's a challenge. It's a big challenge that is happening across the country. And we need to immediately begin to discuss ways to address that. In some places, in quite a lot of places, the local VRA or ECG substations will call some of the management members. But many situations are also happening where unplanned power outages are happening and affecting hospitals. Sometimes you are working in my own facility recently, the power was just flickering, going off and on, off and on. So this doesn't help the conversation. And that is why, for us as an association, we are not bothered about what people want to call it. So whatever you want to call it, we don't really bother about that. What is important is that for critical installations as hospitals, they need to know the timing of these outages, especially where we know that they are being done at certain times.
Very, very well managing under the circumstances.
You're working today?
You have some surgeries, but you can't be sure about, this power. Sometimes you're in surgery and the lights go off. And so it affects even planning. Some surgeries can wait, but if you have a cancer surgery, you cannot wait for too long. So that's why, as a medical association, we are calling for schedule. If we knew, they would say, okay, all our surgeries, we are going to have power on Tuesday. So book surgeries. Patients come on admission Monday, we do surgeries for you on Tuesday. But I'm working in the dark. I book you for Wednesday. Wednesday there's no power. Genset is working all right, but to what extent? Genset is supposed to be a stopgap. Light goes off, it comes in quickly, so there's no break, and the lights come. But the exception is becoming the rule. We wish and pray things get better for our country.
That everything really.
Yes.
We deserve to know, and we can't be quiet when something like this is going on.
No, because it affects all of us.
Exactly.
It affects all of us.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the point. We can't pretend that everything is okay when things are wrong. Sometimes, and the worst part is when people who are taxed to ensure that, we have uninterrupted power supply will tell you, oh, where do you live? Because where I live, I don't experience it. Okay? But this is it.
And they still have a job.
Can you imagine?
You expect the right things to be done. This is not time to you can play your politics. Okay? If you want to play your politics, go ahead and play them. But we are saying, enough of your politics. We won't play politics with this. We need our electricity on. You play the voice of Dr. Promise Sepuga shortly, not long ago. Today is his daughter's birthday.
Oh,
so it's
also remember. I mean, the situation with Komfo Anokye, sort of. I don't know whether to get angry at the system or I don't know what. Okay, so Komfo Anokye needs fixing, right? We have an old facility. How many years? I'm tired of saying over 40 years. Now, Otufo is leading the charge to get people to donate so that they can raise this building and save more lives. Because obviously, I mean, Komfo Anokye, as we see it, is suffering. You hear about emergency ward not really being a typical emergency ward because people come in and they can't find beds, for instance. right? The place is crowded. So they are trying to complete this building so that we can have a nice expanded facility. And people are donating. We thank everyone so far who has reached out. But Raymond, even the materials that they are sending into the country, we can't get tax waivers on them? Seriously? Something that government is supposed to do, the people have decided that, okay, fine, listen, we've been on this for years and we understand that government can't do it all. So we're going to do it ourselves. Can't we get, the relief that we see Parliament give institutions, people coming into this country that we don't even know? This is our own.
With no proven benefit to the people, we give to them anyway. But I saw a statement, and it's on the page that I follow. It says Ebusiafo and the project's Heal Konfanoche project was supposed to be done by a government who's serious about the health being of its country. Unfortunately, no government cares about the current vulnerable state of Konfanoche until 24 Asante himself took charge to renovate Konfanoche and restore the old glory of Konfanoche. People out of their misery have donated their widow's mite to support a project that's supposed to be done by the government. 10 containers of materials for Heal Konfanoche have arrived at Tema Port, and the government is charging 1.8 million cedis as duty. This government knows no shame. How then do we have to pay duty and other taxes to the government when we are doing what successive governments have ignored for 70 years by asking for money from ordinary Ghanaians? It's a pity. 1.8 million cedis for 10 containers of tiles, not to mention electrical and plumbing materials yet to come. Letters written to the finance minister through the chief director nearly 2 months ago was yet to be acknowledged. Demurrage, right? Charges have already been sent, which is about $1,500 a day. What this posture means is that subsequent materials will still have to be paid for. I should appeal to ice water sellers, market women, shoemakers, etc. to donate towards a project for it to be taxed. Just look at that. In Kwekuchen's choice, voice actually. I pray something comes out of this so that we can save money for other works. Albeit these setbacks, I extend sincere appreciation to our gallant donors who have demonstrated they care about the health needs of the ordinary Ghanaian on the streets. I also continue to appeal to the well-meaning Ghanaians, both home and abroad, who are yet to donate to kindly come on board. To the many corporate institutions yet to respond to His Majesty's call, we wait on you all to prepare to come and donate generously to this great cause. This is for us and by us. To the management, board, all workers of Konfanoche, thank you for your support. Okay, of course. And it says, no, you do know what I'm reading. You don't know. It says, Sami Edubuachi, Chairman, Heal Konfanoche Project Team. It's embarrassing, eh?
Oh, and listen, this one, we don't have to say a prayer.
Yes.
We don't need God's intervention.
No. You see, if there is exemption and if there is tax waiver, ever a time where a classical situation requires it, this is it. Let's be fair to ourselves. We have wasted it. Last time the minority was fighting some 44 or so companies who were asking for it. This is important because it is the responsibility of the state to fix that institution.
No shame.
You're unable to deliver on it. Some people have taken it upon themselves, and the king is convinced that if he doesn't lead this project, that institution will collapse. Then he is working on it himself. He's asking people to do the nations. When they are bringing the materials you are not producing here, let's be quite clear to ourselves. It's not as if we are producing here, so we are saying that you are protecting local industry. The materials are not producing here. Then your biggest response has been, oh no, why do you heal Konfanoche? Why should it be healed anyway? Well, we should hold on to it so that more people will die there. This is a hospital. Remember, when we were working on the mother and baby unit, you know how many kids were dying there? You were in Kumasi for that particular project. So it's sometimes, because, see, when people do not get procurement opportunities, they don't prioritize it. And you know that for a fact.
Charlie, this one doesn't make
Raymond,
sense.
This is it for me. Okay, so why would you want to... First of all, this is Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. This is government's responsibility. Okay? To ensure that the hospital is in a good position. The hospital is, well run. Government has not been able to do it. You have a visionary chief who, instead of complaining, has now decided to do it himself. Now, if you're government, or if you are a member of government, the first thing you will do, apart from commending the chief, would have been to even add money. You.
Lead it.
You can't.
These are the areas you need to put your so-called seed money.
Look, you
not on phantom projects.
You can't construct it. Somebody is constructing it, and then you hurt the person. Why are tax waivers important? I just want to share something with you. Today, the renovation of the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, would it lead to job creation?
Yes.
Of course. Would it lead to economic growth?
Yes.
So why the difficulty for government to actually grant them the tax waiver?
Because it won't lead to corruption.
Well, hold on. This is a non-starter in the first place. In fact, this is not a conversation we must have. Because if you, government, we have sat on this platform and we have had conversations about the role of the private sector in national development. We have said that the private sector can do a lot of things to actually transform this country. And when they do these things, government must also incentivize them. Unfortunately, this is where we are. It's a shame.
Look, you see, what is our priority? That's the first question you should ask yourself. What is our priority as a nation? We say Agenda 111, right? And we keep making noise about the fact that this country needs 111 new hospitals. That one, dear, it's a priority for us. So we are doing whatever we can to make that happen because it involves procurement. But this one is people solving a problem without using government procurement. People are donating to solve a problem, to save lives. No government official is going to get a kickback from it. So it's not a priority. So it's languishing, and the people who are trying to help us are now incurring demurrage charges. It's shameful. It's shameful. Meanwhile, we'll be mounting platforms willy-nilly, telling Ghanaians that we want your vote so that we can come and provide health care for you. Somebody is doing it right now. All you have to do is come to work and do your job and sign a document. You can't. You can't. We should keep paying you, but you can't do this just because nobody is going to give you some envelope.
Well, this is the one thing that we can certainly force government to do. So listen, join us. Let's do this together, like we do all the time. 055-111-1997. That's our WhatsApp number. Post on X with the hashtag JoySMS and send us messages on Facebook as well.
Konongo Kaya situation. Classical. You won't do it. Somebody is doing it too, you have become a stumbling block.
When we come back, we'll start with the Dumso conversation. Our guest, Professor Dr. Ernest York and Lucia Adai, will be joining us here on the Super Morning Show.
Wake up. Good morning. Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Telecel is here.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Waikari Capital. We are a multinational fund management company regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Our aim is to help our customers thrive by enabling them to achieve their lifetime financial goals while investing their funds in ways that create a positive future for them, their families, and their businesses. In this way, we help them to create the best life. Speak to us today. Call us on 050-157-7546 or 050-157-7547. Visit www.waikaricapital.com. Waikari Capital, together towards tomorrow.
Are you a corporate organization, e-commerce business, individual or student looking for a trusted courier company where you can track your package and receive SMS alerts to keep you posted? At IAS FedEx, we move your documents and parcels with care to the destination of your choice. With offices across the nation, we happily deliver your package to your office or the comfort of your home. With the assurance of safety and affordability giving you peace of mind, IAS FedEx has your package in good hands. Call us on +233 501 605,000 or +233 501 605,000. 631000. IAS, licensee of FedEx.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an original Igbo White play, Dubai on No 6.
Barney, darling, do you know where Simon and Diva went for their annual vacation?
To Dubai.
Oh, so you know. And the year before that's the way the
Caribbeans.
Where have you been on vacation with me, your wife?
Ajwa, you and I have been at Kwewu for Easter.
Kwewu.
Winneba for Abuache. Elmina for Bakatu.
Elmina.
And we have been at Keta for...
Keta. Barnabas.
We are also regular at Homo.
Shows on March 29th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., Sundays, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And a special showing on Easter Monday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana cedis. Get your tickets on the Callbar Short code *365*535# and at all regular outlets. Call 059-6922-040. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors: Gino Tomato Mix, TCB Bank Limited, and M Notified. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Competitive business landscape, a healthy workforce is the foundation of success, and that's why we've designed our corporate health plans to empower your employees and enhance your organization's performance. With Equity Health Insurance, you're not just investing in insurance, you're investing in the future of your company. Our plans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your employees, providing comprehensive coverage and incomparable benefits. Our commitment goes beyond paperwork and premium. At Equity Health Insurance, we stay with you all the way. Call us on 0501 515 124 or 0506 607 910 and let us serve you better. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
And if you're looking for a freight forwarding company to handle both your inbound and outbound shipments, well, I've got the right place for you. It's IAS FedEx, and IAS FedEx offers a wide variety of international freight services, which include air freight, sea freight, be it less container load or full container load, and customs clearance and documentation. Their international operations link more than 200 countries, supported by extensive domestic networks in all key markets, and offer a range of fast and direct freight services to suit your needs. They have dedicated staff as well. They have in-depth knowledge in the local customs clearance processes and procedures. IAS FedEx pre-finances freight pickups to an agreed threshold for their clients with terms and conditions. Please contact them now for free consultation on international freight services and customs clearance processes. Here are numbers to call: 050-160-5000 or 050-163-1000. With IAS Ghana, your freight is firmly secured. This is the Super Morning Show. When we come back, we're talking about essential facilities affected greatly by the ongoing doomsday.
Important that we discuss this issue in that context. Of course, our members across the country are reporting various challenges. Some have had to use torches to complete surgeries during procedures. Some have had to revert to the paper systems because the systems were down. And so it's a challenge. It's a big challenge that is happening across the country. And we need to immediately begin to discuss ways to address that. In some places, in quite a lot of places, the local VRA or ECG substations will call some of the management members. But many situations are also happening where unplanned power outages are happening and affecting hospitals. Sometimes you are working in my own facility recently, the power was just flickering, going off and on, off and on. So this doesn't help the conversation. And that is why for us as an association, we are not bothered about what people want to call it, doomsday, whatever you want to call it. We don't really bother about that. What is important is that for critical installations as hospitals, they need to know the timing of these outages, especially where we know that they are being done at certain times.
Very, very well managing under the circumstances.
You're working today?
You have some surgeries, but you can't be sure about, this power. Sometimes you're in surgery and the lights go off. And so it affects even planning. Some surgeries can wait, but if you have a cancer surgery, you cannot wait for too long. So that's why, as a medical association, we are calling for schedule. If we knew, then we say, okay, all our surgeries, we're going to have power on Tuesday. So book surgeries. Patients come on admission Monday, we do surgeries for you on Tuesday. But I'm working in the dark. I book you for Wednesday. Wednesday, there's no power. Genset is working all right. But to what extent? Genset is supposed to be a stopgap. Light goes off, it comes in quickly, so there's no break, and the lights come. But, the exception is becoming the rule. We wish and pray things get better for our country.
some I bear cough. Coffee in your cup.
All right, it's 8:38. You're welcome back to the Super Morning Show. Thanks to all of you who have joined us in the Asante region. We really love you for choosing Love FM. And for those of you in the Central region tuned into ATL FM, you've made the right choice. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we know that many of you across the country, across the world, are listening on our X Space conversation, which just started. And listen, this is an important conversation, right? This doomsaw thing, it affects us all. We can all relate to this. When the lights are going off and on, we're worried about what effect it'll have on our appliances. More importantly, we're worried about the fact that we don't know in advance, and so we cannot plan. These things affect us on an individual level. Now just imagine the scale of that effect on big industries and institutions that rely so heavily on steady power supply. Well, we've got people representing two of such sectors and institutions here in the studio. Let's say good morning to Professor Dr. I love it when I have to say Professor Dr. Ernest York, who's a consultant physician and endocrinologist at the University of Ghana Medical School, as well as Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He also happens to be the Vice President of the Ghana Medical Association. Prof. Doc, good morning.
Thank you.
Now, it's our first time with Lucia Adai. She's the Executive Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana. That's PMAG, is that right? Lucia, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you too.
All right. Now, look, you represent two sectors of healthcare provision that are quite heavily reliant on steady and reliable power. We don't have that right now. In fact, we have doomsaw right now. And we are told that this doomsaw will not come with a timetable. Help us assess the impact of this on your activities. And if you don't mind, Lucia, I'd love to start with you. The Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association. What does this do to you?
Okay, thank you so much. And good morning to your listeners. I think it's important to note that when it comes to electricity, it's fundamental to our operations. We have machinery that we need to keep on for a certain period of time, sometimes 72 hours. It has to keep running. And these machines provide life-saving medications, which are very important. So at the end of every treatment, you are given a prescription. It's a prescription that's going to actually help you to be well. And these medicines need to be manufactured. When we receive raw material, we need light to validate the color, how the raw material is, to also do some research on it to ascertain that it's actually what it's supposed to be. Then we would move it into a staging period, and then we'll do production, and then after that we would package it. And all of these processes, you would need electricity. So when you cannot predict when there is steady light, it really becomes a problem. And that means that you must have your generator on being automatic to ensure that you don't have that disruption. Because at the end of the day, business has to be done. People need their medicines. You need to save lives. You can't give an excuse of the fact that you didn't have electricity, being the fact that you can't manufacture medicines. If people need medications anywhere in Ghana or beyond, you need to supply them their medicines.
It just occurs to me that, well, I don't know, maybe your generators are different from the ones we use in our homes, but my generator at some point will need refueling. So I can't imagine that you have generators that can run continuously for 72 hours without refueling, do you?
No, we don't have that. So what we're actually looking at is we are looking at like different sources or alternatives when it comes to, power supply, because generators are also very expensive to maintain. You need some kind of fuel. It's very expensive. So you want to look at solar. But solar, again, is also expensive when it comes to the panels, it comes to the batteries. You could think of, let's say, other forms which we don't really do here. If it's wind or biogas or anything of that, so we don't really do a lot of that here. But I think that there should be incentives for more people to actually invest in that kind of alternative source of power, because you can't keep a generator on for even 8 hours. Sometimes I would say the pollution, the cost of running it and all of that is just not sustainable.
So you've explained what the power is needed for.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples of actual losses that you incur because of the intermittent? I mean, like what things do you lose? What things get destroyed?
I can't quantify, because to start off, if we don't have medication, sometimes it means that people can die. So I can't quantify what production of medicines. I mean, you have millions of dollars in machinery that could go bad, and you have to fix them and all of that. I mean, that's just monetary. But when people don't have access to medicines, there are people that are going to be sick for a longer period of time, people that won't get their medication, that could cause anxiety. When people are sick for a longer time, they need more support from family, they lose time on work and all of that. And I mean, ultimately, they could die. So I can't quantify a person's life.
I'm even asking about physical things in the manufacturing process. Like, do you, for example, lose entire batches of medication?
Yes, you could. If you are going through mixing, or if you are formulating and the light goes off and then you don't get it coming back on, because you need a certain uniformity, a certain consistency, that batch could go bad. Your machinery could also go bad if you don't have steady electricity, because it's not just about the supply, you need it at a certain quality and all of that. And so if you are not getting that, then your machines could also have problems.
Wow. Have you had to, have some of your members had to perhaps lay off workers because there's no reliable power to?
So because of how specialized the people who work in our industries are, we try all the time to try and like maintain them on board. But sometimes it is a challenge, because if you haven't budgeted for having to pay extra, let's say for solar or generator or anything of that sort, then it becomes a challenge on the CEO to find money to ensure that there is steady electricity. So it's a tough call, I would say. Sometimes you may be tempted that you want to lay the people off, but because of the kind of investment when it comes to capacity building, training, you don't want to lay them off and then need them later.
Yeah, I get you. Prof, your members, I mean, they've acquired these skills with which they're meant to preserve and save our lives. But if the tools that they require to do that job are not available or cannot be used because there's a lack of power, you guys must sometimes feel quite helpless and useless in the face of emergencies when there's no lights.
I think it's even more than feeling helpless or useless, but sometimes it agonizes us, when such situations occur. And let me underscore, one point, that those of us in the health space, especially doctors, we are frontline. So what we do is to preserve health and ultimately, prolong life of people, and sometimes prevent death as well, unnecessary death. And what is happening now is really having a toll on what we do. Many facilities are complaining, many doctors, many practitioners. And let me just take you through a little journey of how this impacts on the work that we do. So you start with patient consultation. And generally now in most institutions in Ghana, it's electronic, especially those in the government space. So if electricity is off, the servers are down, we'll have to wait agonizingly. Patients waiting so long, and there's murmuring. They think that you are not up to what you up to the task. And then beyond that, if patient is admitted to the ward, you can imagine what will happen with that electricity, the monitors. How do you monitor these vitals? Because there could be a change in their situation within a second, and that or then if you're not aware, that remedy that you ought to have put in to prevent death, may not have happened. And beyond that, you can even talk about theaters. And on your promo, I heard you talking to Dr. Sefoga, and he alluded to the fact that he has surgeries to do, and sometimes surgeries have to be postponed. You have to use torchlight. And it is a reality. So you can imagine, so the consequences are far, reaching. and on what we do, especially preserving health and preventing death. You can even imagine going to the end of this value chain, and that is the last stop, which is a mortuary.
Yeah.
Without electricity, what happens? So what we're asking for is some form of certainty that we can predict and plan as managers of institutions, as practitioners, and as providers of health. And the conversation must change as to whose doomsaw is the worst, whose doomsaw is the best. But what we need is reliable, stable, and predictable power, so that the health of this nation is not put into jeopardy.
Yeah, we're going to spend a bit more time a bit later on the show talking about what we need.
Sure.
You know, and make our demands quite clear, because this is a matter of life and death.
It is.
But I want us to get as clear a picture of the size of the problem as possible before we take a break, and then we come back and get into the solutions. And you've really painted a very interesting picture there about the entire value chain, and you know how electricity is needed at all points. Now, the added pressure for you doctors is that you are frontline. At the very least, Lucia and her colleagues, they are suffering, they are sweating in the factory. You are sweating in front of the patient. And we have seen some of the effects of this. There are videos going around, patients claiming their babies have died, and all kinds of people claiming their parents have died because life support wasn't available, and all of this. The pressure on you from patients who are the ultimate, I was going to say beneficiary, the ultimate victims of what's going on, the pressure must be huge.
It is, and some of us are losing sleep because, as leaders of a body like doctors, we get, keep getting calls on a daily basis. Sometimes they'll call you in the night asking you, what should we do? GMA, speak up. And they say, yes, we try, we're engaging, but ultimately the power is not ours. What we do is advocate, like we're doing today, and calling for the system to be stabilized. And the patient, as we said, are the ultimate, sufferers in this unfortunate situation. And we've had patients coming to us and threatening us, actually, that we need this. My patient, my relative ought to go for surgery, and he's not going for surgery. What is happening? And diseases, as you delay, becomes worse. And then the patient will have to suffer some more complications. They have to spend more money treating the complication, more money because the hospitalization has prolonged. Who's paying for it? So the entire value chain, i.e. the providers and the patients who are the back end, everybody is under pressure. And it's an unfortunate situation.
I come back to Lucia, there's an aspect of this that I do have to bring up. Doomsaw is not new. Or in fact, let me say it this way. Our power supply in Ghana has never been 100% reliable. At one point or the other, there will be some fault or something that causes the lights to go off anyway. Before this recent, rather intense spate of power outages. You mean the localized Doomsaw? Well, what they like to call it localized. Me, I'm saying that the lights go off in Ghana.
Okay.
It happens. I would have assumed that hospitals would have in place safeguards, because this thing happens anyway, because it's a part of our lives. You would have some safeguards in place so that when Doomsaw, no matter how serious Doomsaw gets, it should not affect your ability to save lives.
Yeah, and I must say that most institutions in this country, because they know that we've had power challenges in the past, have some form of contingencies to deal with it. And the obvious one is the acquisition and operation of gensets. But the price of fuel now, and nobody can deny that. And so it's a toll on the finances of this institution. So in the past, it was the exception to use a genset as a stopgap measure, as you're describing, but now it's becoming the norm, which cannot and is not sustainable. Because the tariffs, what patients pay for the services they receive is fixed. It's fixed by a body that the hospitals have no control over. The cost of generation is going, fuel is going up, and that puts a strain on their finances. But at this stage, what I would ask the managers, or tell them is that in the midst of adversity or challenges, when leaders emerge, So they should try and think outside the box and see what things they can do differently. Lucy mentioned about the use of solar, alternate power.
Or even wind.
Or wind. Well, wind hospitals probably not, but solar, yes. So we should look at the short to medium term, acquiring some of these alternate sources of power. And let's also be efficient at the workplace. Sometimes you go, fans are blaring, lights are on, nobody's there. So let's conserve energy whilst we still engage the providers, the regulators, to be able to fix this problem. And we are calling on the electricity company of Ghana, GRICO, and all who fix the tariffs to treat healthcare as an essential service, a critical service that ought not to be added to the general pool. Because if you did that, our lives, your life, and everybody's lives is at stake. You cannot put us on prepaid and then be harassing us, put lights off in the middle of surgery, and expect that we'll come clapping for you. Yes, we understand that we must pay for it, but there should be some arrangements that does not ensure that powers are off when critically the power is needed to save lives. So that approach by UCG should change. And there have to be, there must be engagement at all levels, including the Ministry of Finance, and the associations, not just doctors, but the nurses, the farmers, and everybody, so that we can jojo and see how best we can continue to preserve and save lives in this country.
Right. If you just joined us, we're talking to Professor Dr. Ernest York. He is the Vice President of the Ghana Medical Association. He's also a consultant physician and endocrinologist, both at University of Ghana Medical School and at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Lucia Adai is here with us as well. She's Executive Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana, PMAG, if you want to use their street name. So we're trying to figure out, a way through this whole doomsaw thing. And first, we're trying to assess the effect of it on the work of the Ghana Medical Association and indeed pharmaceutical manufacturers. Now, Lucia, before we take a break, let me ask you this: has your association approached, say, the Energy Ministry or even ECG or GRIDCO, with your concerns? Have you spoken to someone about this, and what have you been told?
Okay, so our mother ministry is the Ministry of Health. So usually when we have challenges, we will speak to Ministry of Health. We also coordinate or work with the Ministry of Trade. So they understand what we are going through, and then they would actually speak to the other ministries as and when required. We understand that, things are being done in the pipeline. So there will be some support. So we are looking forward to it. But currently, it is not what we want. So we are also encouraging members or CEOs to actually get the solar or alternative power. Because if we don't get some parts of the work of the grid, or we don't get some form of support, it would affect us. The machines are expensive. We can't keep replacing them or fixing them. We need the products, so we need to find a way around it.
Forgive me, I want to pin this down. Are you saying that you have formally informed your mother ministry, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Trade that you work with? You've informed them of this situation, and their response to you is that support is coming?
Yes, so to the Ministry of Trade, there's been some engagement, some discussions on the availability, the quality, and also, I'll say, the affordability, because the rates are a bit high compared to, let's say, India that we compete with, or, all the other countries around us. So there's been engagement, it's ongoing. Like you said, power has never been stable. So it's a conversation. We've drafted policies, we've had conversations, meetings, and all of that. So, we hear the support is coming, and we're looking forward to it, but as of now, it hasn't been done.
What specific support has been promised?
So specific promise on incentives for us to get alternative power,
right?
To get us constant electricity, treat the I would say the sector with a little bit of preference sort of, and then also to look at the rates and see what will be competitive, because today, if you, let's say, bring in some medications, I'll use infusion, the drips as an example, you would realize that if somebody brings it from India or China, comes to pay duty, carries it through the cargo and everything, sometimes they are relatively more affordable than people who make it locally. And it is also because the power is not stable, so you have to rely on other sources of power. Because the electricity here is more expensive, the water is expensive relative to the countries around us and also to India or China. And so we need to look at how we can be competitive, because with Africa Continental Free Trade Area or with globalization, you are competing with countries that are putting in structures and measures or systems to ensure that they are competitive. And so if you go to bid in a certain country, your excuse cannot be that in my country is expensive. You have to find a way of ensuring that your price is competitive. So
I mean, this sounds like a conversation that's been going on for some time now. But since things got decidedly worse with this recent doom, so have there been any specific communications, asking for some expedition of this promise of support?
So when it comes to like our sector, because they're a little sensitive, you have to keep engaging, and then you get platforms like this where you do some advocacy, but the engagements can go on for years until something maybe a little is done about it. But you can't stop engaging, because I mean there's nothing else you can do. So you have to keep engaging and then looking at what you can also do about the situation. So yes, it's been going on for years. Some of my CEOs are tired, they keep complaining, but that's the only way forward. We need to keep engaging, and then we are sure that maybe in future something will happen.
Well, what about you, Prof? Who have you spoken to and what have they said?
Well, through our mother ministry, I am aware that the association was part of a consultative process last year to engage the providers and also Ministry of Finance to try and see how they can deal with their legacy debts. And following from those meetings, the ministry issued a statement directing what health facilities and heads of agencies should handle it. In fact, there was an agreed mechanism between the Ministry of Health, GRA, and Ministry of Finance to deal and ring fence the legacy debt. So going forward, the facilities were not required to pay their own, electricity cost that they incur. But I must say that it has been a challenge. That notice was issued in the middle of the year, and so they had made budgetary provisions. And tariffs have remained the same. There's a strain of resources. There's increased cost of consumables. So aside fuel and power, the cost that has gone up, other operational costs have also increased. So it's really putting the facilities in a fix, and we are struggling. And so what we're saying now is, again, let's come back to the table and see how we can resolve this unfortunate situation that the health facilities are going through. And ultimately, as you are aware, life is at stake here.
Professor Dr. Ernest York and Lucia Adai are our guests, and they're telling us how doomsday is affecting their operations as the Ghana Medical Association and the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana. We're going to take some messages from our partners when we come back. The only question that matters: what must happen next? Stay with us.
Only 5 words can describe BetPower's new boosted odds.
Odds must be crazy.
They are the biggest odds in BetPower history.
Odds must be crazy.
Available on the home draw and away full-time market of the biggest matches each week.
Odds must be crazy.
Giving you more opportunities than ever to bet small for a chance to win big.
Odds must be crazy.
Follow the purple arrows to find them on betpower.com.gh.
Odds must be crazy.
That's betpawa.com.gh. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. 18 years and above only. Gaming can be addictive. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, welcome back to work.
Charlie, thanks, bro. Thanks,
the
bro.
Malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke. Hey, fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and fufu?
How we go do it?
I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Oh, yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
Sharp. Anyway, sorry to ruin your excitement, but your boss asked of you.
Okay.
She says she has plenty work for you.
No problem, Charlie. Strength day.
You see,
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing Artemether and Lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for the effective treatment of malaria in adults and children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malatu is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Usually, we get special treatment only on our birthday.
But imagine getting a special package every single day. That's what AT's Daily Deals gives you. You get unique voice and data deals exclusive to you. What's even better is it's affordable, reliable, and available. Start experiencing AT's Daily Deals. Dial *533# today and every single day. When you do, you'll unlock exclusive data and voice packages valid for 24 hours. Come on, people, jump on the AT Daily Deals train. When you're with dealer now. Dial *533# now and access awesome data and voice deals only from AT. Life is simple.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
And we started a conversation about the effects of doomsday on the provision of some very, very essential medical services. The Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association are here with us. Lucia Adai is their executive secretary. Ghana Medical Association is here too. Professor Dr. Ernest York is their vice president. He also happens to be a consultant physician and endocrinologist, both at University of Ghana Medical School and at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. We're just trying to figure this thing out. Now, before we go any further, let me remind you we still have a conversation ahead of us, which is also health related. I mean, why is the project to complete the old blocks at Komfanochi Teaching Hospital stalled? Why? People have raised funds by themselves to complete the work that government couldn't do. But for some reason, there's their signature to release the items on the port with an import duty waiver. Signature number. Why? We're going to hear from those who have used their sweat and toil and donations and kindness to fund this project. We'll hear from them and the effect that this delay is having on what they are trying to do. But first, did you know that MTN Momo now has an app? Yeah, MTN Momo has a brand new app specially designed to make your Momo experience easier, convenient, and faster. Just download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store on your smartphone and look out for the blue and yellow icon. It's that simple. Momo app allows you to view your statements, pay bills, and so much more. Use the app for your Momo transactions and enjoy a 100% bonus when you recharge using the Momo app. So go on, download the Momo app now and start transacting with a flex at no data cost. Just Momo it everywhere you go. Now, an important point was made earlier, I think by Lucia, that look, the purpose of such conversations is to advocate for things to get done. So let's do that bit. Let's start. Let's tell those in charge exactly what you need done so that you can continue saving lives. Lucia.
Thank you. So I think the advocacy is very simple. Businesses need electricity to function. It has to be stable. It has to be of the best quality. It has to be affordable. Whether you call it doomsday, you call it whatever you want to call it, we need regular supply of electricity. There is medications that has to be made. Patients need them. You don't know what will happen to you. You could be in an accident or not feeling well in a certain village somewhere, and you need medication. maybe you work at ECG, and then if you don't have that medication, something could happen to you. So it's important to think about that old woman in that village somewhere, that cousin who is not in Accra, who can just buy it on the open market. It's important to ensure that sectors that are critical, like health, like the pharmaceutical manufacturers, have constant access to electricity. We need to be able to, if it is sit down, if it is look at a roadmap, if it is however possible, ensure that there's constant electricity. Basically, that's what we are saying. Thank you.
There are some who say that the thing has already gone. So at this point, they can't give you stable electricity. In lieu of that, would a timetable help?
A timetable would help. It will help us to be able to plan, to look at what else we can do. Like I said, you can't use the generator for several days. And so if you know that you're going to be off for several days, then you have to look at solar. Is it possible to use solar without battery during the day? During the night, you could use maybe a generator or some other source, some other alternative. You could start discussing it and look at what the impact is financially. Look at whether you need some expertise, some human resource to ensure that there's efficiency. Look at what else you can do to actually have those kind of smooth I would say transitions from one source of power to another, and whether you need to automate it and all of that. A timetable would definitely help, and I think it's important that it's communicated. I mean, if we are feeling it and asking for it, it shouldn't be a secret. Everybody should know that this is what is happening, and it should be a conversation of what can we do to make this better, basically. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah. Your energy minister says that if you want a timetable, make one yourself. Prof.
Well, I will first of all speak to my own colleagues who are managers of these health institutions that they should make provision of power to run their operations a priority in these circumstances. So let's make sure that our gen sets, one will have one, or they're also in good working conditions. But it doesn't look like the situation is going to be over soon. And hoping that one day the schedule of power becomes stable. And also try and conserve power, at the workplace. Let's not the fan blare when it's not needed, the lights man go off when it is not needed. And also prioritize resources. It's scarce in the midst of what looks like many, but it isn't. And we can vie certain budgetary allocations to make sure that we keep the power on to serve our clients, and in this case the patients. All of us are collective or collective patients, because I can be sick tomorrow and you can be sick today, and so we should be able to do things that will advance the health of all of us. The other group that I would implore on is the provider, i.e. the electricity and gridco, and to treat the health sector as a priority sector and not just any ordinary institution or sector. I mean,
if you don't mind, that's an important point. I always wanted to ask about this. So how would that work? I mean, these hospitals are in communities.
Sure.
When the lights are put off, they are put off in communities as per the grid. So I mean, is it even feasible for, say, gridco to communicate only with hospitals and tell only the hospitals when the lights are going to go off? If they don't want to, tell the whole world, can they prioritize only the hospitals? I mean, would that information be secure? Would you not call your wife at home and tell her that yes, you will do light?
No, what I am told that they have these points, supply points on their dashboard,
right? And
so they can isolate certain vital institutions. I'm not sure doomsday occur in, say, the military bases and the flag servers, because they've been isolated. And I'm aware that in the past, Kwalibu, for instance, when there was thick doomsday, we see some reprieve. And so it's something that can be done and should be encouraged. And let's not pretend as if it's not. It is very possible. So let's treat health as a vital service. And it's because of health, the lives of people are at stake here. It cannot be treated as a shop. I mean, with all due respect, a shop can sell tomorrow, but life lost today is irredeemable. And so things must change. And the tariffs that the hospitals charge as well, Mr. Minister of Finance and those are responsible. Let's look at, enhancing it so that a lot more resources come to the table for the health facilities, to use in these trying circumstances. And again, I think that it's hard time we revisit the consultative process with all the stakeholders, the providers, the regulator, the ministry, the doctors and the other health, providers, to see how we can together come up with a way that would preserve life ultimately and to reduce this off and on, thing that is going on. And finally, Kojo, I'll add my voice that we need a timetable. We need to plan, because surgeries cannot be stopped in the middle of it. I mean, you cannot stop somebody who is in a life a support machine, for instance. So if you know that I need to, I'm going to go off 3 hours, I'm going to make sure that the genset is working within 3 hours. I'm going to have fuel available to be able to preserve life, and I underscore preserve life. So let's do things differently, and please treat health as a priority sector, Mr. Mr. ECG, if you can call him that way. So I'm calling on the leadership, of these value chain providers to make sure that things are done differently going forward.
I'd probably want to draw the attention of the energy minister, since he superintends of all the institutions that would have to work to create that priority for the health sector. Here's how I want us to wrap things up. I think we have 2 minutes left, so I'll split 1 minute between 1 minute each between the two of you. Give us a picture of what will happen if nothing changes, right? If this continues, at the end of this, what give us that worst case scenario of what will happen to your specific sectors if nothing changes.
If nothing changes, it could be dire. I mean, the honest truth is that if there's a lot of pressure on the companies, we'd have to let people go home. We have to cut down on production. We would have to find alternative ways of making power available. But if the cost is too much, companies would have to close. And we don't want that. We want to be able to increase the number of pharmaceutical manufacturing companies we have. And so we don't want that very gloomy situation. Everybody's trying to stay afloat. Everybody's trying to do their best. And so we don't want a very dark picture. But it could be that if we are not able to tell what needs to happen and, what's going to happen next.
Which will mean that medications will become more expensive.
Yes.
More people will be priced out of the ability to even stay alive.
Yes.
I can see how bad that could turn out. Prof.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that things will change, but if it doesn't, the way we're going, certainly there will be more queues at the outpatient department because the electronic management systems will be down. There may be fatalities or worsening of patients when we admit them. Surgeries, we know the obvious consequences if lights go off while doing surgery. Even at the morgue, bodies can decompose, diseases may outbreaks may occur. Even the children may suffer in the intensive care. The unborn babies, the born babies. And again, linked to the children is vaccines, because you need a cold chain to preserve the potency. So if they lose that cold chain, they lose its potency. You cannot vouch for its potency to be able to prevent the disease that they want to preserve. But could you lastly, before I sign off, there's a saying in Akan which says, Adama, me mamia wonaka se me beni. All I need is that this is my mother's son or daughter, and so he's my sibling or brother or sister. That's all I need. I don't care how, no matter how the baby came. So all we need, as those of us in the health space, is stable and reliable power. It doesn't matter whose doomsaw is worse or is better. We need stable power, reliable power, and a timetable to plan, and ultimately to save lives and the people of this country.
Professor Dr. Ernest York of the Ghana Medical Association, Lucia Adai of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana. I want to thank you both so much for your time with us this morning. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, listen, coming up, you government you can't renovate the old blocks at Gonfanoche. So somebody has raised money to do it. They've imported the items they need to do the job that you can't do. Just sign so that they don't have to come and pay you duty for doing your job. That one too you can't do. When we come back, we'll try and find out why. Stay with us.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, present an original Igbo White play, Dubai on No 6.
Barney, darling, do you know where Simon and Diva went for their annual vacation?
To Dubai.
Oh, so you know. And the year before that, they were in the Caribbean. Where have you been on vacation with me, your wife?
Ajua, you and I have been at Kwewu for Easter.
Kwewu.
Winneba for Abuache. Elmina for Bakatu.
Elmina.
And we have been at KATH for...
Barnabas.
We are also regular at Homo.
Shows on March 29th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, Phase 6 and 7. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m. Saturdays, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sundays, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And a special showing on Easter Monday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana cedis. Get your tickets on the Cobra Short code *365*535# and at all regular outlets. Call 059-6922-040. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors: Tino Tomato Mix, TCB Bank Limited, and M Notify. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
So baby, what makes you feel protected and gives you peace of mind?
My partner.
Really guides you through life with a steady hand, your safety net?
Of course. See, my partner is more than what I wished for. Secure, reliable, and trustworthy. If I were to come back in my next life, my partner would still be Coronation Insurance.
Oh, I see. So my partner has a partner.
Yes, so. But seriously, Coronation Insurance is like having a prosperity partner. Do you know about their More to Win promo?
Get reliable insurance cover and amazing freebies with Coronation Insurance in our ongoing More to Win promo. Simply visit ecoronation.com or walk into any of our offices now to buy or renew your motor insurance and win amazing freebies. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, call or WhatsApp us on 0302 772606 or 0308 249 068.
With Coronation Insurance, we are both in good hands.
Coronation Insurance for everything.
Hello, Ohima. Etiseng.
Ayo.
Na edahin.
Me kwatade.
Edie bensa.
Krachi. Obesuja na so behwem kwem.
So, na se jane de wo so ayedan kwan de wohwem kakra.
Anyway, me kope vitamin B de adwodwom akon.
What a coincidence. Me so no na me koto, eno na me no.
Hey bra, we de wo boa.
Oh, ahon fe mintimi ntwa wontro.
Sewara.
Vitamilk no emu de he pa na we ni je.
Me pe Vitamilk banana any choco because I'm black and proud.
Hey, interesting. Me de me a regular guy with lots of energy. So wow.
When you kapao.
So wow. I can see we have something in common. Ohima, yanko try a Vitamilk connection. Would you bo me kana metia? Anye bia se kwan down.
Kwan be.
Aha, na muni brebi. Vitamilk di foforo bia be kambusua ne ho aye friend of Vitamilk strawberry. Vitamilk energy aduane abri biara. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Our football fans wanted more, and Sporty TV is here on a new HD Plus channel to give you football and more. See selected weekly fixtures from the EPL, Bundesliga, Serie A, Saudi Pro League, Spanish Super Cup, DFB Pokal, EFL, and so much more in HD quality pictures on Sporty TV channel 152. The football you care about is here in HD. Subscribe for 12 months at 290 Ghana cedis only. Call 0242-439872 for more information. HD Plus. See it, feel it.
Which kind life
3, welcome back to the Super Morning Show. And in what must pretty much be the absolute worst example of Konongo Kaya we've ever encountered, government of Ghana, after failing to renovate the old blocks at Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, have been rescued by the Heal Komfo Anokye project, backed by Otumfuo himself. They have decided to take on the job and do it. They've raised money. They've imported, very important, implements and items, including tiles, to get the job done. The tiles have arrived. Government, sign a waiver so that they don't have to come and pay duty to you for doing your job that you failed to do. That one too, you won't sign. We're going to find out from Samuel Edu-Boakye, who's the chairman of the Heal Komfo Anokye project, the impact that this delay, 3-month delay, of the signing of a waiver is having on their project. He's actually on the line right now. Samuel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kojo, and thank you for your opportunity given, and also good morning to your listeners.
Excellent. We look forward to learning more about this horrendous situation. But first, don't forget to go to kingdomstoreonline.com, where you can buy the best quality office essentials, equipment, furniture, and stationery from Kingdom Books and Stationery. They will deliver to your home or office in very good time. You can pay via Momo across all networks for whatever you buy. And if you're in Accra or Tema, you get free delivery. Terms and conditions do apply. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Well, so Roverman Productions, in partnership with the National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an original Igbo White classic, Dubai or No Sex. I'm sure for those of you who've seen it, you've loved every bit of it. And so it will continue showing on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of April 2024. Friday, 1 show only at 7 p.m. Saturdays, 2 shows, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and Sundays, 3 shows. So that's Roverman 1, 2, 3. Venue, National Theatre, rate 200 Ghana cedis. Buy tickets via Koba short code *365*535#. And at all regular outlets, be informed that a purchase ticket may earn you a free round trip to Dubai. Raymond, how about that? For inquiries, call 0596 921960 or send a WhatsApp to 0505546030. You can follow Roverman Production on all social media platforms at Roverman Productions, proudly sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GCB Bank PLC, media partner, Notify and Logistics Movers. Buy your tickets now. Roverman Productions, be the difference.
All right, Mr. Samuel Edu-Boakye is the chairman of the Heal Komfo Anokye project. They're the ones trying to renovate the old blocks at Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. Mr. Edu-Boakye, perhaps we'll start with some very quick background details about the Heal Komfo Anokye project and what you are trying to achieve.
All right, Kojo, thank you once again. Kojo, what the project seeks to achieve, led by His Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, is to renovate the OG blocks, which are close to 70 years, that has not seen any major renovation. So that is what His Majesty seeks to do as part of the legacy project for his 25th anniversary celebration.
Right. Now, you've set about purchasing some, materials for this job, and some of them are locked up at the port. Some details on that?
Well, Kojo, thank you. What we decided to do was to do a 360 cost benefit analysis on what we need for the project, to see what we can buy from Ghana and what we can import based on the cost-saving concept to the project. What has happened is that some of the items that we are procuring from outside of Ghana, we are about saving close to 30% of what we have here in Ghana.
Right.
So we have been able to bring in 10 containers of tiles, and we sought to seek a waiver from the Ministry of Finance through the Chief Director. A letter was written on the 9th of February, and up till now, we haven't had any feedback. The items at the port, already demurrage has set in, and we are to pay about close to $1,500 a day, and we are almost about 7 or 8 days into it. Let me say that the letter that was written was addressed to the Minister of Finance through the Chief Director. And it was being led by Honorable John Kuma, who unfortunately has passed. And since his demise, we have not been able to have any person to spearhead this waiver for us to be able to clear these items, for us to speed up the work to meet His Majesty's anniversary celebration.
So let's get the details right now. You wrote this letter on the 9th of February, which will mean that we're almost at 3 months since you wrote the letter.
Yes, and we are yet to have a response of even an acknowledgement.
Not even an acknowledgement.
Not even an acknowledgement. So last week, knowing what was ahead of us, we had to write to His Majesty to intervene. Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff of Menchia had also been intervening, and then the CEO, through his political affiliations, has also been making calls to see how best we could be helped to save 1.8 million cedis of monies that we have appealed from shoemakers, from ice water sellers, from market women, to do this so that we can have a good health facility that is serving 12 out of the 16 regions of Ghana.
Hey. Oh, all right. Now,
yes, but Mr. Edubuachi, just help us understand. So, this renovation that you're embarking on, if completed, how's that going to transform healthcare delivery within, one, the Ashanti region, and the other regions that Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital serves?
Exactly, Kojo. Kojo, when you come to Ashanti region, the only health facility that sits to compete or to match any of the ones in the Greater Accra region is Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. As I speak, the whole of Ashanti and the other regions that are dependent on this hospital, we cannot boast of any hospital that can match the likes of UGMC, any hospital that can match the likes of Rich Bank Hospital or Lekma, 37, Kolebu, etc., not to talk about the Smith hospitals and other private facilities. So Komfo Anokye is an integral position health facility that must not be made to go through what is happening. So for 70 years, a hospital that has not seen any facelift, this is the least we can expect. But however, let me put it that we are not fighting or we are not trying to paint or change the government black. What we intend to do or using this medium to do is to appeal for any processes that has to be done so that we can save this amount of money that we have appealed from the ordinary Ghanaian to put a facelift to this hospital.
Now, Mr. Edubuachi, you indicated that, you've had to appeal to His Majesty because of the time of celebration. Originally, what was the time you anticipated you're going to complete this project?
No, we had to appeal to His Majesty to intervene as it stands that we have not been able to hear from the Ministry of Finance, and our items at the port are being held at the mortgage point. So that's where we had to call His Majesty. His Majesty is on the project and he's leading it, and on daily or weekly basis he's taking updates. So it is not just about bringing him in. This is his project, and we are supporting him to execute.
Yes, but help us understand these, materials that are currently stuck at the port. How is it impacting the completion of the project?
The completion of the project is not only the tiles that is going to delay. We are bringing in electrical, we are bringing in plumbing materials and other things also to go through this. It is our wish that we could have been able to complete at least 3 floors to, as it were, for His Majesty to commission as part of his anniversary celebration. But unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves.
So you keep making reference to as part of his celebration, his anniversary celebration. When is the anniversary celebration? When is the Grand Deba?
The Grand Deba is in May, possibly end of May. I do not have the date offhand.
Okay. And so were you expecting that by that time, at least, he would commission part of these 3 floors that you expected to have completed?
That is our wish, or that has been our wish.
And because the materials are currently stuck at the harbor, that doesn't look like feasible at this point.
This is how we see it for now.
Now, you're about a week into the incurring of demurrage, am I right?
Yes, please.
This thing is costing you money. You said it's costing about what? How much per day?
It's about $150 per day for a container.
Wow. And you have how many containers?
We have 10.
10 containers. $150 per container per day. That's $1,500 per day.
Yes, please. $1,500 for the day.
So this charitable work that you sought to do is now incurring a cost. I mean, after how many days will your money pretty much run out? How many more days can you afford?
It's not even about affordability. The truth of the matter is that by the support of our donors, Jasmo, who are one of the major sponsors of the blogs that we are doing, and then also Joe Shop, at least we are, and then the little that we have received from the ordinary Ghanaians and a few corporate organizations, we cannot be ungrateful. We are about 39% of our $10 million target. However, I find it a bit unfortunate to spend 1.8 million cedis of that amount to clear these items from the port. That is where we are.
Yeah. All right. So if you could speak directly to the finance minister, what would your message be to him?
Respectfully, I would appeal to those in authority and those who matter when it comes to doing these waivers to please come to our aid and help us clear all the items that are coming to renovate the hospital, which is a government facility led by His Majesty, so that these kind of costs will be taken off our budget and we can make some good progress to bring good health care to the people within the catchment areas of Konfanoche Teaching Hospital.
Well, I want to say a big thank you to you, Samuel Edubuache, chairman of the Heal Konfanoche project, for bringing us up to date with the current situation regarding your attempts to get the attention of the finance ministry on this import duty waiver. We'll keep an eye on this matter as it progresses. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Kojo.
Ray.
Mostly they say that there are 60 regions in the country and 12 depend on Konfanoche Teaching Hospital as their referral center. The rest, Kolebu, we know that for sure. But think about it deeply. And because we have done some work in connection with that institution, we know the level of deterioration. We let a block basically go to waste for 40 years. Remember, the original mother and baby unit. And we said we're going to revive and rebuild it. This has been constructed. Beyond that, if they speak to you about the various units at Konfanoche, some even complain that one of the reasons, and you may be in more trouble having to go to some of the units at that hospital, and your situation may be worse off leaving the hospital, is the reason why there have been several complaints. But see, sometimes we are not smart people. We are starting so many projects in the Ashanti region. We are doing that. When you say it's because people know that they cannot put their names on and say that I built Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. That's the problem. That is the problem with our politics. People want to start their own projects because it will bear their signature so that they can count it. Oh, during my time, we built this hospital, we built that, we built these other ones. That is why existing ones, they don't want to pump in the right amount of money. You have a structure, you have a system, you have an institution that ought to be protected if we care about the kind of service you should be delivering to, if you still want to repeat that, 12 out of 16 of our regions. And when you fail at it, and Asante says, okay, well, I'm not going to do the complaints. I'm not going to do the usual things. Every day, government come and do this. Government, I've been saying it for God knows how long. Nobody's listening. Let me take it upon myself to ask other individuals. Let's rally and do it by ourselves and for ourselves. The only small contribution you are asked to do is waive. Just you think about it this way. Is just say that, oh, I'll let you bring in the product. The people's contribution should not be used to pay the taxes on these things. That is all that they are asking for. And that's also become a problem. And I insist, maybe you may find it cynical,
Our people are like that. When they are not benefiting in terms of what they call it, procurement, it is back burner issue. When they are not counting that as part of their achievements,
$2 million.
when they are not counting that as part of their achievements, they are unwilling to actually project that. Why do we do these things to ourselves? Why would we wait? You see, and the more we wait, not only is this going to happen, others who are supposed to be contributing to it will also lose hope in the project, then it becomes a problematic one. This is our collective negligence at the highest level. You will not do it. Somebody is doing it. Just provide the facilitation for it. And finally, to the finance minister, Dr. Amin Adams, mostly I respect you. I want to believe that this one, it's not gotten to your table yet. The hope is that now that we are saying it, it's now come to your attention. There is reasonable expectation that you will quickly actually intervene and get them to waive any other payments they have to make because you wasted time in this process. Because it's not worth it at all. I was following the contributions. Wasting young people, ordinary people, market women, they were all putting the small amount of money to make sure that they save their own projects. Projects that, and we get it wrong. At least from the PV of Baines and the John Kuma's experience, we would have learned our own lessons about improving healthcare and the institutions that we need to promote and project.
You see, what's development? Development is not just getting up to say, I built this facility and I built that facility. After all, look, the monies that you use, why? Is it not our money? If you go for a loan, are we not the ones who's going to pay for it?
The loans we were able to take 240 or 250 million to do these games that people
all Africa,
$250 million.
Now listen to this. Because we have failed in this country. See, for countries that are serious, when they are measuring their progress, they measure life expectancy.
That's true.
They ask themselves, how have we been able to increase the life expectancy
That's true.
in our country? They do not talk about how much money they
spent in the sector or the other sector or
the fact that they started hospitals that they were not able to complete. Now, because of the failure of government to transform our health sector, you have a chief, Utumfo, deciding to do this.
A king.
The only thing the government could have done would have been to just say, you know what?
This is our support.
This is our support. You have not taken part. And and it's even a shame that we're having this conversation.
Can you believe that?
I am scandalized. It's not something I want to talk about. Not on a Tuesday morning, you come to work, and what you're talking about is the fact that we have materials that would go and help solve problems at the ports. Today, we can afford to give waivers for the construction of recreational facilities.
Hotels too.
Hotels. We'll give waivers.
Yes.
Not only would we give waivers for the construction
Huge amount of money
of hotels, not only would we give waivers, we would actually invest government funds in the construction of hotels. But this is a hospital. We just do not think that it's important for the good people of the central and the middle and the northern part of this country to have
a proper
state-of-the-art referral center. I am scandalized. First of all, the Minister of Health designate should be rushing to the Finance Minister right now to inform him that he must, as a matter of necessity, urgency, today, get Parliament to come and approve that this be done. This is one of the.
In fact, this is worth calling Parliament for.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That they should call Parliament to come back. Parliament should come back. They should recall Parliament to approve this waiver, and then we quickly get it to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. Okay, if it doesn't meet the threshold where Parliament must come in, they should approve it.
Yes.
So that
you
do
just
that quickly.
Acknowledge the letter.
Yes.
Just acknowledge that you've received the letter. That one too, you need someone to come and tell you before you do it. Your salary for the past 3 months wasn't enough to cover you're writing an acknowledgement letter to someone who's trying to do a job you can't do. But have you guys noticed how these days nobody even bothers to draw the attention of the president? In the past, when things like this happen, you hear us all appealing, Mr. President, please intervene, please. Is it that we no longer see the president as a solution to our problems? He still has a good 3/4 of a year to go. as president.
Yeah.
But we do. Is it that we no longer think he can solve problems in this country? Is that why I mean, he's an afterthought in this conversation. It only just popped into my mind that if we were having this conversation a year ago, we would all be calling on the president to intervene and kick people into gear so that they get the job done. But right now, I don't even see the point of making such a call.
When we had some time ago said there were excessive waivers in that sector, the references do not include this particular project. Everybody agrees. This one, you don't need anybody. Nobody in Ghana's parliament will be opposed to this particular project. Because it should make sense that when you have refused to put the taxpayers' money in there, when individuals come together and actually raise amount of money, you don't frustrate them. You don't make them feel that they are doing the wrong thing or they are wasting their time doing these things. You do not make it difficult for people to get better health care, especially when it was your job to give them better health care in the first place. That is why it is wrong on all fronts. And I mean, yes, Sami can decide to plead, but I am not one of those going to plead on you to do your job, for Christ's sake. Really. You are not doing it. Somebody is actually doing it for you. Just facilitate the process, become a problem. Then that one, you have to come hand in hand begging you for doing the same job that you are unable to do, that you are being asked to do it. Of what use are you there in the first place, being paid every day to work in the interest of this country? Sometimes I don't even just get it. I mean, people should understand they do public service. I'm not so sure whether the public service, they got their own mentality from somewhere to actually deploy themselves into it. Because this should be a very simple thing. In fact, you should be begging more chiefs to take on similar projects in their areas, in their localities, in their regions, so that they can all help in building Ghana better. Imagine the amount of trouble taken off the heads of government by this project alone. Why do you want to not help it? What will be your problem? In fact, the 1,500 they are paying every day, Koji answered. I am insisting they should not be made to pay that amount of money because it's a disincentive to anybody who want to do something similar going into the future.
That money should be refunded to the good people of Ghana.
It doesn't make sense.
Have decided to help you do the job you cannot do.
Oh no! As for this one, I mean, there are some things that it could be either ways, but this one, it looks very bad on us as a people.
Look, someone just sent me a message and it says, last year, I was in the States and met a millionaire friend who asked what's wrong with our government. He said he decided on 2 occasions to ship 20 40-foot containers of school desks and chairs to support schools under trees. This was after he saw on social media the problem. When he got his officers to inquire, he was asked to pay duties and as a humanitarian gesture. He said the containers are sitting at the ports. That was last year, August.
Can you believe that?
My own sister wanted to bring in equipment to do free screening. Free screening. Something that on NHIS we should all be able to do, but we can't.
Yeah.
So she decided to step into the gap and do it for poor, communities across the central region. Because of import duty. Because she couldn't get a simple waiver to do it on her import duty. She had to abandon the project. And this was something that was being funded by people excited to help. People excited to help us. They had to give up. So, and of course, those people, as for them, they are serious human beings. They have targets.
Yeah.
And the money had to be spent. So some other country ended up benefiting.
Yeah. But even look at this on the other front. Just today, we are asking, Muftar, right? We're asking Muftar about the project and the status of the decks that they are needed in his community, the school that he went to. Yeah. If somebody is bringing in decks that you government you're unwilling to buy for that the young people in that school who are sitting on the floor, the pictures we've all seen, the young kids who are actually struggling, most likely future beneficiaries of tablets, but who are struggling today on the floor and trying to make sure that they steady. If they are decks, they are being held in abeyance because you don't want to approve this for them. Then in whose interest are you serving? In whose interest are you operating as people who are given direct responsibilities to act in our collective interest? It doesn't make sense. And it's, unless maybe there's a bigger explanation, unless maybe this is cast in stone, there's nothing you can do about it. Even so, we have made so many changes and accommodated so many other expenditures that are frivolous and unreasonable to me. But we are here today. Oh no! It looks bad. It's a terrible telling on us. Actually,
I keep reminding Ghanaians that you don't only have power on election day. You have power on days like this. All of you people sitting there, getting paid every month, being given allowances, free fuel, free chef, free security guard, free gardener, collecting all of these benefits in the name of Ghana in exchange for a job we expect you to do, which you can't do. You have failed to do. So someone else has decided to step in and do that one too. You won't allow them. As for this Konongo Kaya, come and explain it to us. We'll take some messages. We'll be back after that.
Asampayetia Obanyansa fuso wo bunuye won kana asam Say mafutu sam kakre wa supeme Yo kofi Oman ya woman Omani ya memana Yenyi baby ako Wacha ta ya wareni Wonsom wanyinyi pa Asa tipa wofyo ye Yamo yembera ye Ebe ya ifuyeda Omae ya umano Omae ya memana Ati waye nora Nyamichata Nyemana renya Wonsom wanyinyi pa Sawa ya wanabe Yamo yembera ye Ebe ya ifuyeda Wonsom wanyinyi pa Sadepa ofio yo Kamo yembera ye Ebe ya ifiyana Ama be ya ifiyana Ama be yo Asite be ya ifiyana Oh Ama be ya ifiyana Yana Kamo yembera ye Ebe ya Obrani warabo Oma meya efriyanara eminawa Kamo yembera ye ebeya efriyanara Ese Oma meya efriyanara Abraya bwe sebeya efriyanaro Aho Oma meya efriyanara Kamo yembera ye ebeya Yaboni ye Oma meya efriyanara Abraya boya Kamo yembera ye ebeya Oma ebeyo Oma meya efriyanara Obrani warabo
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
Yes, now we are. Yamishira, Mamani Paya, the Foa, and Yano. And Fanya Misroya, Jumana, Yami Besrayan, O'Brien, Boya, and Moyamurae, Abeya, Efrihanara,
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
Oma meya efriyanara Adije Kamo yembera ye Ebeya Yemfa enye bengawa Oma meya
not subjects. Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
And I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
Not spectators, citizens, not subjects. Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
Again, those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
I am representing for all of humanity.
Uni.
Well, I'm sure that the finance minister,
oh yes, I'm hoping, very
Dr.
hopeful.
Mohammed Amin Adams.
No.
Is listening.
It looks bad.
Health minister designate. By now, he should be on his way to the finance minister's office because we are assessing them.
Yeah.
We'll be mentioning their names every day. They are there to serve the interest of the good people of Ghana, and not to serve their own interest. Okay, and once they acknowledge that, we're fine.
But if you have difficulties in this country, it is our 2-4 project that you want to treat this way. People have become bold, pal.
Ghana for you.
With all respect. Anyway, listen, it's been great spending the morning with you. We're doing it again tomorrow. Make sure you join us from 10 minutes to 6. I must apologize. I will have to bring back the message from the morning man tomorrow because I wasn't able to complete it. We'll do that for you tomorrow. That's a promise. Right now, though, listen, keep it locked on Joy for the duration, and let's meet in the morning. My name is Koje Yankson. I'm the morning man.
I'm Winston
Raymond Aqua.